All right, y'all. Welcome to episode 8 of New York Football Talks, man. I literally feel like it's still crazy to me that we're on episode 8 and there's one more game left in the Sage Standout Game of the Week series. It's unbelievable. Of course, I'm not here alone. I always say this every week. Do I even need to introduce my guys anymore? Jared Valluzzi and Coach Mac. What's the word, guys?
What's up, man? What's up, fellas?
How we doing?
Man, so much football this week. We had to split the show into 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Just as a reminder, because shout out to my 3A guys, because my 3A guys are always flooding the chat. So we are gonna go over all of the action in the 4A today. And then tomorrow we're gonna do the 3A, the 2A, and the Catholic League recap. I actually wanted to make a poll. I think I'll try to fit in the poll now. No, I think I'm gonna do it on Instagram. Uh, okay, I'm gonna make a poll, and the poll is, how do you watch the podcast? And I'm gonna say, I guess it's kind of dumb. Actually, no, I'm gonna have to save it for Instagram because I want to ask like how people watch the podcast, either live, you know, afterwards in the car, or if they just kind of skip ahead to find like the parts they're interested in.
Parts, yeah.
Because like I'm really curious because you guys are listening. I know you're listening because every time you see me, you remind me of what I said. So, shout out to everyone for real. Like however you are consuming the live stream, shout out to that, man, because it's really been a lot of awesome support. So Mac, Jared, how you guys doing, man?
Doing well, man. A lot to talk about. Some great football is being played. I just want to say before we even get started, I'm happy with the direction that the PSAL football is going in. It hasn't been this way. Wow. I want to say at least the last decade. This is the most entertaining on every level. 4A, 3A. This is amazing, man. I hope we keep treading in this direction. Yeah, man. This is great. This is great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm beyond excited for this week. I mean, back-to-back episodes, like it's gonna be crazy. And we were talking about, last week, there's so many games. We couldn't even cover as much as we wanted to. And then it all went down. It was insane. Rivalry week was crazy. All the games in the 3A, absolutely nuts. And kind of just building off what Max said, I mean, man, the PSAL, like I knew this was going to be a good year, but this regular season honestly has exceeded my expectations from a parity standpoint and from a talent standpoint with, seeing these teams really come into play and just so many different groups, showing that, hey, when playoff time comes, we can make a run. So it's going to be fun.
I love that you bring that up, Jared, because I just want to make an announcement right now, just in case people did not know. The next time a ball is kicked, we are in November. We are in November. So just to remind everyone, the playoffs have already begun. If you don't believe the playoffs have start right now, then get your Instagram post ready for number 7 signing out.
I don't know.
Get that post ready. If you don't come into this week, let me get Jared back in here. If you don't come into this week like the playoffs have started right now, get that goodbye post ready. Because honestly, the playoffs might have started this weekend. For real.
For many, it did.
Yeah.
For many, it did. For some, it didn't. For many, it did. This weekend, made the playoff picture a lot more clear.
And of course, there's only one place to start at 100
Man,
Luton Avenue, man. The game that we have been waiting for since. Shout out to my guy Scoob, by the way. Great seeing you guys in person. We always talk online, but those are really my guys, the South Shore staff. So shout out to you guys. We're definitely gonna get into that game later, but of course we have to start at 100 Luton Avenue, Tottenville E Hall. This game, in my opinion, lived up to all of the billing, and everyone just get comfortable because we have a lot to talk about. Man, who wants to take the first stab at this one, man?
I definitely want to. So I think you guys may have watched it live, right?
Yeah, yes, I commentated. Jared, were you able to watch live? Or?
I caught some of it live. I was watching the beginning. I was like, man, I can't even get into it. But yeah,
Yeah.
So I caught parts of it live.
I was able to watch it Friday night after the game was already played. I already knew the outcome because we're in the group chats and you guys kind of keep me updated play by play. After watching it live, for one, not seeing Corey Brown play at the beginning of the game, I'm like, damn, all right. So, they're down one of their guys. I knew that was going to be an uphill battle. I knew there was going to be a heavy load for Tyshawn. But I feel like E-Hall definitely came to play. And just the defense, I honestly and then we kind of do our predictions on the side. We kind of had these crazy scores like 28-34, 35-40. Yo, for that offense, mind you, prior to this game, I think the least amount of points they scored was like 40. So for that game,
or something.
Yeah. 40, that's crazy. For that game to be that low scoring, man, just super, super, super impressive on both sides of the ball, man.
Garrett?
Man, yeah, it was really interesting. And the E-Hall defense, because going into this game, I mean, other than that, their loss against Curtis, and I think it was a blown coverage, that big play that led to the field goal. Their defense was great in that game, and it was great pretty much all year. They're going against Tottenville. I know they didn't have Corey Brown, but it was really, really impressive. I wish both teams, were at full strength. Hopefully, get that if they meet again, because once I saw Corey wasn't playing, I was definitely wishing that he was, just to see both teams with full firepower. And yeah, no, E-Hall, the D line looks really good, and I know we're gonna get into it, play by play, but I mean, man, Carlo Makata, with that fumble late, yeah, that was unreal, and he's had a great senior year so far. He makes a big play under the bright lights, against the best offense in the PSAL to help E-Hall win it. But this one, it was interesting because E-Hall, they took advantage of the mistakes Tottenville made, which we're really going to get into in a little bit. And good teams find ways to win games. Erasmus Hall's offense didn't do a ton, obviously, but the Dutchman came out on top. This is gonna be fun to dissect.
Yeah, I know. So first of all, it is Carlo Machota. He made sure
Machota,
to let
man,
me. It's Machota.
I actually know
Yeah.
I know his dad too. I was like, I'm gonna take
Oh,
the
word.
Bible.
Yeah. I only correct you because he literally messaged me after the game, and I always feel. Trust me, guys. I feel so bad when I mispronounce names. Like it
I know,
is.
me too.
It's not easy when you're live, and I don't know. Like you're trying to read. Yeah, you're trying to read people's names and commentate. So always apology. He's in the chat.
He's
That's
in
my
it.
guy
Yeah,
for real.
good game.
Carlos Machota, man. Oh my gosh. All right, where to start? Okay, I actually want to start on Corey Brown. I kind of wish we didn't start on him just because in a way it's almost not disrespectful, but the performance that these 4 players put on. The 4 players that I want to shout out first are actually for Tottenville, and that's Tyshawn Bent, Justin McGuire, Nick Constantino, and Cyrus Cardona.
Yeah.
Those guys played their absolute hearts out, championship level football. Of course, not having one of your top guns is so tough, but those guys, the performances that those 4 put, all 4 of them. First of all, I'm watching the game. I see number 57 wreaking havoc in the middle. I'm like, "Hey, isn't that Cyrus? Like, I thought Cyrus played offense." And I'm like, "No, Cyrus is playing defense." Tyshawn, that E-hole defense was really hitting, man. It was an extremely physical game, and he was carrying the load for the team. And I want to give a huge shout out to Justin McGuire because I have come on here and I asked 2 questions, right?
Yeah.
Word to Mac, word to Jared. I asked 2 questions. I said, 1, is Tottenville peaking too early? 2, I said, can Tottenville complete 5 passes to win a game? Justin took what I said, just like everyone else has been all throughout the city, which we love. Took what I said, put it on a billboard, and said, "Yo, watch this."
Yo, he was going on top.
Can we talk about Justin McGuire and his freaking performance in this game?
Yo, he was. Listen, I didn't even know the other kid played receiver.
Nick?
Yeah. I thought he was.
We'll get to Nick, but let's talk about Justin and just like the accuracy on some of his throws, man. I think he missed. The stats are up actually. I think he only had 1 incompletion, if I am not mistaken. Let me go look that up. Let's see. Quickly. All right, Tottenville. E-Hall. Okay, let's see. So Justin was. Oh, well, okay. I didn't realize he threw the ball 24 times. Wow. So 17. I don't know how right this is, but let's just go for it. 17 for 24, 174 yards.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's too accurate.
Yeah, that's 17. I watched the game.
I didn't see any throws.
No, but Mac, what are your thoughts on Justin's performance?
I think he kind of lived up to what he did. This is a kid who's a 3-year starter. So this is kind of expected. He kind of took his bumps and bruises his first 2 years. They knew that, everybody knows that Tottenville's run game is super solidified. So they know they had to open it up and allow him to throw the ball, man. And he was throwing the ball a lot better than I thought. Just like putting it up there. And I'm like, wow. Got them out of some tough situations. 3rd and 12.
Yes.
3rd and 12, he's going up top and is getting completed. And this is against an Erasmus secondary that's pretty good. Probably one of the better secondaries in the city. So I think he played very, very well. Super talented kid, has another year coming back. And he's coming back with pretty much all of his pieces. So that's going to be pretty scary.
Yeah, I think, that was the big question going in is like, all right, if Tottenville's forced to pass or, they want to pass, how is this going to work? Because he was averaging 3 attempts a game, 4
if that.
maybe, right? Against Lincoln, which was, their hardest game by far, I think he only attempted 6 or 7 passes. Probably,
I don't even think so.
right? Like, I don't even think so. I think the PSAL site's just inflating it a little bit. So, yeah, that's pretty wild. And yeah, like Max said, doing it against E-Hall defense, really impressive. And Andre, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think early on too, like he came out firing. Like he completed I think a stretch of passes in a row. I don't know if it was first quarter.
Yes, it was the first 2 drives he completed. I want to say 4 passes in a row. He had first of all, he's throwing like a 12-yard out route to Nick to like start off the game. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. We're talking a 12-yard out route in the PSAL? Like,
Yeah.
we don't see that very often. Like, I'm going to keep it a stack. And he throws a 12-yard out route to Nick. And then he threw the deep pass. And it was just pretty much a go route. Nick, and we'll talk about Nick, of course, but Nick is just one of the brightest stars in the PSAL. Only a sophomore, first time on this kind of stage, and he's one-on-one on a go route. And honestly, the DB, and I can't remember the number on the DB. Nick is running a go route. Fakes inside, goes out. The DB was with him on his inside shoulder, but the throw. I mean, the throw was right on his outside shoulder. Like he literally just had to catch it. But all wide receivers know like that's definitely not the easiest catch. Over your shoulder. Pretty much have to have perfect technique to catch it. And then Nick had another long completion later in that first half. So it's just, yeah. And Tyshawn, the real Tyshawn, is in the chat. Like
Yeah.
Nick Constantino as a sophomore stepping up. Mac, I'll let you go. Just talk about Nick, man. I mean that performance is tremendous.
That kid is special, man. I kind of heard about him during the off season, and they said that he did really well on JV last season as a running back. And then I was trying to figure out, what room does Tottenville have for him if they already have Tyshawn and Corey. And to put this kid at receiver, that just shows that he's just a pure athlete. His route running looked pretty good. He was able to locate the ball very well. Like you said, I mean, a couple big throws downfield, kind of got Tottenville into some better situations. Yeah, man, that kid, he's super talented. I'm curious to see how they use him going down the road in the playoffs. Yeah, man, that's super impressive from him.
Jared?
Yeah. Put ATH next to
right?
name, man. You got to. Because
Yeah.
like he showed earlier in the year, how dangerous he can be at that running back spot. I think it was a non-league game where one of the tailbacks was hurt. I think it might have been Corey, and Nick stepped up at the running back spot. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. Tottenville is just that loaded. But Corey came back. They moved Nick around, and he's still making plays. Yeah, absolute stud. I think he had a big 30-plus yard catch in this one as well. And he was – and I mean, just pure speed. And yeah, Mac really made a great point there in the sense of he can go up and get it when it comes to like locating the football and everything. So big game for him. And also going into it too, like, as obviously we don't get injury reports in high school football. You tell me Corey Brown is out in this game, there's a lot of pressure on Nick Constantino to make plays.
Absolutely.
He's got to fill some shoes there because to beat E-Hall, it can't just be Tyshawn Bent. It has to be a full team effort. But when it comes to playmakers, Constantino's kind of that next guy, and he made a ton of plays, and that's a big reason why Tottenville was just a couple plays away from winning this game and knocking off the defending champs.
Yeah, and to speak on Tyshawn, you don't want to speculate, but it definitely seemed like he might have been carrying something coming this game. It wasn't the Tyshawn explosiveness that we're used to, even though I thought he was way more explosive in the second half. But the responsibility and the pressure that's on him in this offense is tremendous. And you're going against this E-Hall defense who, I mean, trust me. By the way, we're talking about Tottenville right now. Oh, okay. So I didn't know if that was okay. So I see that. Okay, I see what you're saying, Tyshawn. I won't put it on the screen, but I see it. Yeah, we could see it. If you've seen Tyshawn play, I mean, he is an absolutely explosive athlete, and it wasn't exactly there, but that just shows you how good he is because he still scored a touchdown. He was still breaking big runs. Maybe he got some better tape in that second half, and he looked even better. But huge shout out to Tyshawn because let's be honest. Like when we talk about Player of the Year, Tyshawn is. There's a couple weeks left, but he's leading every conversation in my opinion. Of course, everyone else has their own opinion, but this kind of game for him, I just think is tremendous because it's so gritty. Like everything can go because Tyshawn is taking on that load. You know what I'm saying? Like Nick is allowed to have that one-on-one coverage because they have to bring someone else into the box for Tyshawn. Corey is able to get around the edge because Tyshawn's running dive for 5 yards and all that. So I guess Matt, your thoughts on Tyshawn?
Yeah, I think he balled, man. I mean, he has so many touches, and that's hard for any kind of back to endure. I mean, I'm not sure how many carries he actually had, but I'm like, damn, like, sheesh, that's
Yeah,
something.
PSAL has him listed at 22. Again, that sounds like a lot, but it might be 22, honestly.
No, definitely. I'm thinking maybe a little more, but it might be 22. He had a lot of touches. Um, and moving forward, this is kind of the year where maybe you want to. I'm not going to say rest some guys, but we're going into the playoffs, and you need your guys to kind of make that run. And Tyshawn's being one of those guys. Now, of course, with Corey not playing, and you're playing in that kind of game, even Tyshawn said it, like he had to play through it. Like that's just something you have to do as just being like one of those guys on the team. You got to play through it. And you're gonna get nicked and banged up throughout the whole season. And yeah, man, games like this, you have to, if you can physically play, yeah, you got to strap it up. Try to band-aid whatever injury or whatever hurts. Try to bandage that up and try to get you going, man. I think he did a solid job, man. I think he did a very, very good job. Um, yeah, I think he did a really good
I
job.
mean, by the way, this stretch of games,
I
Eagle,
was just gonna say
Canarsie,
that.
Curtis, where can you rest him? Like that's the
Yeah, no,
problem.
that's tough. That's a tough stretch, and
Oh,
that's a Canarsie team that's like scratching and clawing at this point of the season to get into that playoff picture. So it's just, what I'm saying? Even though we saw the Eagle Canarsie game and we saw how that turned out, and we always talk about our tiers of football. I think at this point of the season, yeah, Canarsie is kind of like this is a win and go home type of situation. So I don't know if you really could rest your best players in those type of games.
yeah. I mean, that stretch for Tottenville. I mean, on the road under the lights against Canarsie and Curtis. By the way, those environments are going to be crazy as
Yeah,
well. It's
Yeah.
going to be really, really cool. But yeah, going back to Tyshawn, kind of similar to what I said about Nick, but this is more obvious with Tyshawn. Like the spotlight is already on him. Now he's kind of carrying that load by himself, and he was injured, so it was very, very impressive to see, what he was doing within this offense, and yeah, he's of course leading like that player of the year conversation that a lot of people are having right now with what he's doing, but he's a phenomenal player, and he looked good. But Tottenville just they just made some mistakes down the line,
Mhm.
and that's not very Tottenville like. That's kind of what I was really thinking of during that. It was just like, man, like they had it, like they're so well coached, they're so well disciplined, but that it didn't go in their way there.
No, absolutely. And E-Hall guys, just sit tight. Trust me. We have a whole we're about to get into you guys first, but I just wanted to get through Tottenville real quick. But yes, I saw a few people talking about this player, number 7, Matthew Velasquez. Wow. If you watch the game, that would probably be your reaction as well. Wow. He was literally all over the field. Matthew, listen, I've never stood next to him. He's not a big guy. I can just see it. He's not a big guy, but he was all over the field. He had 5 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a sack. and I think they might be shortchanging my boy because he was in on every single play.
Wow.
Mark D. Matina,
Yeah.
number 1, they have him listed as with 8 tackles, and number 31, Jaden Innocent, he
Yeah,
was
that's one.
wreaking havoc all night. He had a sack. He's one of the leaders in the league when it comes to sacks. And Jesse McCall Jr., number 9, that's another player I was
Yeah,
really, really impressed with.
yeah.
Great energy, and he was just flying all over the field. So huge shout out to Tottenville. To be honest with you, I'll make this statement. Um, I'm actually more impressed with Tottenville leaving the game than I was coming into it.
Wow.
I say that because of what I've said all year long. I've been very consistent. I'm very impressed with how many points they've been scoring. I did not love how they looked in that Lincoln game. It was clear that Lincoln's defense was not up to the battle that day, and I thought Lincoln's offense did whatever they wanted. And the Tottenville defense played incredible on Friday night. And I asked the question, if they go down in a game, can they make a pass? Because when we watched that championship game last year, right, that was the difference. When Corey Brown was breaking those big runs, everything was good, right? But when they went down, it was pretty much good morning, good afternoon, good night. And looking at Justin McGuire and Nick Constantino, I think that they do have what it takes to win a championship for real. Um, but it all depends on the health, and that's kind of sports, right? It's just you could have everything, but circumstances. I mean, Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving were on the Nets, right? Like it's crazy how things could work out. But
Mm.
last words on Tottenville before we move on to the winners.
Nah, man, I'm curious to see that game against Curtis. I'm curious to see that game against Canarsie.
Absolutely. Oh, we're going to talk about that later for sure.
They have two pretty big games coming up to end the season off, man. And I think they'll do well.
Yeah, pumped for that schedule, and Tottenville's front seven, man. It definitely opened some eyes, opened my eyes because I mean this E-Hole offense is still really good, and they came to play. They did a good job stopping the run. I think outside of just one big, I think E-Hole had a big run or two, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Tottenville's D looked, they still looked really good, and I don't think they gave up any big passing plays really.
No, no, they didn't. So yes, Erasmus Hall, man. E Hall. So when I pulled up to the game, I do my usual thing. I go and get the rosters from the coaches, and yo, had a lot to say to me. They're like, "Yo, like I heard you were saying that Curtis is the best defense. Like, like we're gonna show you." They had a couple of players like, "Oh yeah, this is the guy right here. He's the one who was talking about your defense." And I was like, "Yo, man, like we're here to talk. Y'all are here to play." And that E Hall defense. Let me tell y'all something. E Hall revealed all of their secrets last night on Friday night. If you guys were paying attention, if you want to figure out how to win a championship, how to win 5 championships in a row, E Hall showed you, and it's grit, resilience, and fundamentals. Right? That is what they displayed in that defense. I take no credit if y'all were motivated by what I said. Then I guess I'll keep talking bad about y'all. So if y'all keep playing like that, I mean, the first drive of the game, I thought E Hall's getting out of here, man. I was like, yo, you better start them buses, man.
Yo, me too. Me
Nick,
too.
Mm-hmm.
Nick is running past people. Justin is picking them apart. Tyshawn getting into the end zone first drive. Next drive, same exact thing. Get all the way down to the 1 yard line, the 2 yard line. And this E Hall defense, man, to step up I mean, let's be real here. Like, the season wasn't on the line, but it really felt like it was on the line on that 2-yard line, and that E-Hole defense stepped up. Mac, just talk about the E-Hole defense overall before we start going into detail with them.
All right. I didn't want to mention this when we were talking about Tottenville. But since we're talking about the Eagle defense, Tottenville, you gotta be able to punch it in the 1-yard line. Come on, man. Like, shout out to Eagle defense. Like, I mean, you did what you had to do. But if you're Tottenville, it was third and 1. All right, fine. You couldn't get it. It was 4th and 1. You had 2 shots to get it in on the 1-yard line, and you can't punch it in, man. That's that's something that as a coach you're losing sleep over. You have to be able to get 1 yard as an offense. Shout out to Kamarion, just stuff in the middle, man. Oh my god! And this is a Tottenville offensive line that I think is really good, probably one of the best in the PSAL. They were flying around. The backs against the wall. You know, you're on the 1-yard line. Some teams are just like, all right, they got here. We'll get them next time. Nah, man. E-Hall was like, nah. We're putting it all into this. We're trying to get a goal line stop, and they did. That was super impressive. That was super impressive, man. But I feel like all game, like I said, going into this game, I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game. E-Hall's defense, man, just 3 and out, maybe get a first down, then stop them. That was super impressive. Turnovers, oh my god,
yeah. Oh man,
yeah.
But the thing about the turnovers, real quick, because sorry, chat, I thought my chat wasn't loading, but I just was kind of stuck for a minute, so I missed a couple of your messages. But shout out to Nazir Brown. I thought you had a great game. He's number 5, only a sophomore.
Solid.
And yeah, he was one of the players I was talking about. One of the coaches, brought him up to me and was like, "Yo, this is the guy right here." And I told him, I was like, "Hey, listen, like I thought you guys missed a lot of tackles, and Curtis was excellent." So I thought you had a great game. Definitely one of the young stars coming up. And to what you said about the turnovers, there was another game. There's the Eagle turnover, and then there was turnovers in this game.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
These were forced turnovers. These turnovers were from what I said, those fundamentals of putting your helmet on the ball. Huge shout out to Devin Pigot, the player of the game, maybe the play of the season, forcing that fumble, which led to the touchdown.
Wow.
By the way, there's not a number 34 on the roster. Can someone please tell me who number 34 is so I can give him a shout out? He scooped and scored. He's not on the roster.
I think that's Zebo. His name is he played in the 8th grade game. His name is Zaire. Zaire. Name is Zaire. I forget Zaire's last name. Yeah, but he's
I was trying to give him his credit.
Zebo, yeah. I know.
Okay,
Zebo.
okay, yeah.
He's a transfer from Cardinal Hayes. Been a dog. The kid has been a dog. So that's not like shocking at all. And I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that. Right. Yeah. I'm glad to see that he's
now
doing
the show has officially started.
Yeah,
Munchie's here.
Yeah, I'm glad to see he's doing well, man. He's doing really well over there at Erasmus. I think
those huge shot. Sorry.
Too.
No, I was just gonna say huge shout out to Zebo for sure for that. And first of all, Jared, let me get you in here. What are your thoughts on the E-Hall defense overall, man?
Man, I mean, yeah, I couldn't believe. Like, I knew they had it in them, but like that goal line stand just huge. And I was kind of surprised just because of how strong that Tottenville offensive line is.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of what I was a little bit worried about, because if you look at Tottenville, what they were doing to everyone else in the PSAL, not only was it Corey and Tyshawn, it was Cyrus Cardona and Michael Trinidad and the rest of the Tottenville offensive line just absolutely pushing everybody around like it was nothing. Of course, E-Hall is a different test, but this is a newer Erasmus Hall defensive line compared to last year. They've looked good, but obviously they don't have Caden Brown and those guys from last season. And also, I didn't when I watched them against Curtis, Kamarian wasn't playing. But then I saw, what they were doing against Tottenville, and up front was really, really impressive. And this E-Hall defense, I mean, they've been dominant all year. I saw Nasir's comment. Also, Nasir, really, really good player. E-Hall and Curtis for sure. I don't know if I can give one of them the edge yet, but both their
He's 1A,
defenses.
1B at this point.
Because I was just gonna say, because we're gonna get into the Curtis defense
Yeah.
later, because we got plenty to talk about. But yeah, both of them, man. It was really impressive, both defenses this weekend, especially Erasmus Hall, because Tottenville, yeah, they had a lot of flashes offensively. Tyshawn looked good, their passing game looked good. But guess what? E-Hall, they might have bent a little bit here and there. They didn't break. And that's what matters.
Literally.
Holding T-Ville to 7 points. I mean, there's very, very few teams in the state that can hold Tottenville to 7 points.
Agreed.
No, I absolutely agree with you. And Mac, definitely as a coach, um, especially the Carlo, Machota play, man. So it's just to remind everyone, it's at the end of the game. Tottenville is in hurry up offense, big run up the sideline from Tyshawn. They complete, and then after that, they complete a pass. It was either a cross. I think it was a crossing route. I'm pretty sure it was a crossing route. They complete it. Number 25 is running up the sideline. Tottenville would have had the ball at the 30-yard line. At the 30-yard line, Carlo is chasing and just punches the ball out. Now, the reason why, yeah, I know I just said Devin Pagotma had play of the year. That might be number 2. Like, it's hard to pick between the two of them. The reason why I love that play so much is obviously these are high school kids, right? And it's like you always tell them, the play's not over. Play to the whistle, play to the whistle. That is the definition of playing to the whistle. So Mac, as a coach, when you see something like that, that has to be one of the ideal play as a coach, right?
I mean, the E-Hall defense, I mean, that play in particular, amazing play. As an offensive coach, you got to take your hat off to the defensive coordinator. Because going into that game, I'm not sure what was E-Hall's game plan. But as an offensive coach, I'm basically telling the offensive coaches and the players, we got to score at least 28 points. We got to score at least 28 points. And for Erasmus defense to play lights out like that, that's like one of those times where, that Monday, you gotta get your defensive coordinator a steak dinner. Yeah. You have to get your defensive coordinator a steak, because they made the game a lot easier for Erasmus's offense. They did. A goal line stop. Yeah, man. That's awesome. And a defensive score. That's another thing. A defensive score wins the game.
To win it.
Come on, man. I'm not sure who the defensive coordinator is at Erasmus. He should have had a steak dinner today. They at practice, if they're doing film, when he showed up, red carpet should have been laid out. They should have took care.
Bring him to STK. Bring him somewhere nice.
Yeah, you got to take care of him. You have to take care of him.
No, but it's just the whole program. Shout out to Coach Lamberg and everyone. And also shout out to Coach Wheeler as well. Let's not even get it twisted. What Coach Wheeler is handling right now is tough. You know what I'm saying? He has to keep, these two quarterbacks has to keep their confidence up. He has to have these two quarterbacks believing in him and okay, now it's time for for one, now it's time for the other. You know what I'm saying? So how about you speak on that, Jared? It can't be easy for Wheeler and that offense. They did enough.
Yeah, for the game, it was tough. It was tough, and I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. Like how well Tottenville's defense played, but Ehall they got it done. It was enough, and it. But like I listen, their offense they scored when they had to. I think it's just crazy that Erasmus all scored one offensive touchdown and beat Tottenville. That just wasn't in the cards for anybody.
What?
So that part was absolutely crazy. But no, this whole E-Hall coaching staff, they do a great job trying to balance everything out because when you have such a deep and talented team, I think it's definitely it's definitely the luxury to have all that talent, but obviously it could be hard at points. So they do a good job and they were able to figure out a way to win. Good teams find ways to win. And defensively for E-Hall, I want to talk a little bit about that Carlo Machota play and about kind of him as a player. So he's not one of those 3-year varsity starters that everyone knows about since he was like a freshman, but he was kind of underratedly making plays throughout his career last season, sneakily some pretty big plays, and now on the big stage he finally emerges and gets that play that everyone's talking about. But he has been a very good player for a while, and I'm glad that we're finally talking about him, and he made that huge play to give E-Hall a big time win.
No, no, absolutely. And I definitely want to give a shout out as well in the E-Hall offense to Amir Murrow. Because I thought, it's all about patience and keep grinding it, grinding it. He did break a big run in that game, and I thought he did a great job, just keeping his head in it. Offense had some mistakes. There was some big mistakes on the E-Hall offense. But again, it's really all about, the whole team sticking together. And that's my main point of bringing up the offense. Because again, E-Hall gave out the entire formula. Look at that post-game interview with Kamarion. Look at that post-game interview. What did Kamarion say? He grabbed the offensive lineman. Sorry, I can't remember his name right now. But Charles Tinglin, excuse me. He grabs
Wobble.
Charles and he says, "Yo, the defense got you. We got you. Take your time, get it together, but we got you." That is what you have to do. I've been on many, many sidelines this year. Coach Mack has been on many, many sidelines. And we all know what goes on. Oh man, the offense can't get us a first down. Oh man, the defense can't get us a stop. No, get all that out of your mind. It's one team. If the offense turns the ball over, go find your helmet and get on the field.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. So a huge shout out not only to the defense that played well, but also to the offense. Yes, they struggled. Yes, they only scored on a 2-play drive, but they did enough to win. And for the quarterbacks, I would say I know Just and Kendu, we've all seen you guys perform, and I know I believe in you guys. You know what I'm saying? It seems like things might be moving a little fast right now. I'm not exactly sure. There's some plays I saw where, read options where he should be giving it. Like there was a big play when, should have gave the ball in a read option, and it was at the end of the game. It brought Tottenville back into the game to give him like one more chance. And these are plays that, we've seen, both those guys are champions. So I have complete faith in Wheeler and Kendu and just that they'll get it together eventually for sure. Um, and I definitely want to give a huge shout out to two defensive players we haven't mentioned, but Xavier Hughes,
Yeah,
number
Xavier,
82. Forgive me.
Xavier Hughes.
Am I saying that wrong?
Xavier Hughes, yeah.
Xavier. Oh, it is Xavier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So huge shout out to Xavier, number 82. He was all over the field for sure. A huge shout out to the other Brown, number 19, Kendall Brown.
Yeah.
He did a great job on the double handoff on the 4th down, staying home, and that was pretty much sealed the game. And Kendall was also all over the field all day. So huge shout out to the two of them. Definitely want to give them their flowers. And the last set of flowers I want to give, shout out to the punters, man. And I'm not saying that as a joke at all. Like, please stop ignoring special teams. Like, it is so important. You see, that's championship football. So big shout out to number 1 for Tottenville, Mark DiMattina, and number 21, Jazir Harris, because in a defensive tight game, they kept flipping the field. You know what I'm saying? And that's just so important. So huge shout out to the punters for sure. And Mac, I'm gonna leave you with this question, man. I'm gonna leave it to you. Well, maybe we'll do like really real predictions at the end, at the end of the season. But is this a semifinal? Is this a championship? Like, what do you think? Are we seeing this one again?
No, oh
I don't mean
man.
to put you on the spot. You
No,
can defer.
no. That's a great question. It's kind of weird because
Might be a semifinal. It might be a 2-3.
yeah, because I was gonna say if Curtis is number 1, then 1 will essentially. Oh, let me see.
Yeah, it could be a 2-3. It could be a 2-3 matchup. So I guess I kind of answered the question myself.
Am I selfish for saying I don't want to see this in the semifinals? Let me see what's going on. Hold on.
No. So it's gonna be so here's how the rankings go, right? Like in
Yeah.
my opinion, I think Curtis has clinched the 1 seed.
I think so.
I don't see again, it's the PSAL. Let me go look at the PowerPoints right now. I don't know if I think they're updated.
Well, no, they are
It's weird.
updated.
It's weird.
They are updated.
But the records aren't updated.
Why not?
Yeah, Curtis is oh no, they are updated. Okay, no,
They
before
are.
they didn't give Eagle their loss. So yeah, so Curtis is on 1,013. That's 300 more points than Tottenville and E-Hall.
So listen,
So I think
I think if
go ahead.
Tottenville beats Curtis, they will jump to 1.
Tottenville?
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair, honestly. I mean, that's just me, but I think
Because
Curtis
beat Erasmus. Yeah, I think if Tottenville beats Curtis, because they'll all be 6-1. If I'm not mistaken.
I'll make that a poll. I'm gonna make that a poll in the chat. Jared, what are your thoughts? I mean, I know we're talking hypotheticals, but if Tottenville beat Curtis and now 3 teams, and this is assuming E-Hall beats Lincoln,
Mm-hmm.
who's the 1 seed in your opinion? I'm gonna make this a poll in the chat. I know it's hypothetical, but go ahead.
I
Go ahead,
mean,
Jared.
it's as in like my opinion of who should be number 1, or like due to the PowerPoints.
No, like I'm saying, if Tottenville beat Curtis and then E-Hall beats Lincoln in the last week, so they're all 6-1 or 7-1. Who would you have as the 1 seed?
Oh, I think it's this is tough. I think Curtis would be the 1 seed, personally. I think Curtis would be the 1 seed. They got the win over the preseason top seed E-Hall on the road, so, and I think PowerPoints wise also Curtis.
Yeah, so they
Mac,
say
what are your thoughts?
it may be impossible even if Tottenville wins. I think there'll still be 2, which would move Erasmus to 3. Either or.
Oh God, I don't know. So hold on. So you're telling me if Tottenville beat Curtis, but E-Hall beat Tottenville, E-Hall would have to go back to Tottenville in the semifinal matchup?
Yeah, I think Tottenville stays at 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's
So,
interesting.
Erica,
That's
we
interesting.
didn't forget about Lincoln. I know we're just making a hypothetical just because it's fun. We didn't forget about Lincoln. We know that, of course, if Lincoln wins, it screws up everything. We're just talking about a fun hypothetical.
Oh, if Lincoln wins,
No, if Lincoln
Erasmus
wins,
may be
it's
4.
easier.
Erasmus will go to 4.
Should they?
If Lincoln
don't think
wins,
so. Then both of them are on 2 losses, and E-Hall beat Tottenville. I would have E-Hall over Lincoln, even if E-Hall lose. That's just me personally.
even if if Lincoln beats Erasmus, they still will be lower than Erasmus.
I guess it's opinion at that point, right? The PowerPoints are going to be tough, but
Yeah, so it will really come down to the Lincoln, Erasmus, Tottenville, Curtis, and then if you want to throw in there Tottenville, Canarsie. It will come down to those games as far as seedings. But I think PSAL does some weird stuff where it's like, I think the teams with the 12s, like Power 12s, I guess, schools will get bumped up, like a Power 12 rating. So I think South Shore and Eagle will fall. Not sure how they
oh, correct. Yes. So if
do that, right?
well, I'm trying to read some of the chat right now. If you get points based on hold on, I'm just trying to read this one from Monty. Let me see. You get points based off the teams you beat winning games.
Yeah, it
You get
reseeds. Yeah, man. That's gonna the
no,
reseeding.
no, no, no. So that no, I know. Yeah, I know it reseeds. Meaning, if Canarsie make the playoffs, they're gonna be the number 5 seed. Like they're not gonna be the 8 seed. Is that what you
Unfortunately,
mean? You mean like strength of schedule?
so unfortunately, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Um, I don't even think. Well, unless Canarsie beats. Oh no, they may be in. Oh,
I
Canarsie may
think
be
if
in.
Canar I think if Canarsie gets to 4, they're in. What are they on right now? They're on 2?
No,
Oh yeah. So
Canarsi's 9 right now.
yeah, I
So
know they're 9 right now, but I'm saying if they get to 4, like if they play that the key game.
I don't think that game is
eh,
getting played.
Yeah, so that's where it's
Because
tough, huh?
I think it's a PSL rule where you have to have 48 hours in between games. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to play 2 games back to back. I'm not even sure how that would work. But I think even if they don't play, even if that game doesn't get played, I think they'll take Susan Wagner's spot though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Susan
Mhm.
Wagner has
And
Erasmus
E-Hall
and
next week.
Canarsie to end the season. Yeah. I think Canarsie will be fine even if they don't play the game. Now that I'm looking at it.
Correct.
And then it'll get
Correct.
reseeded. And then with the reseeding, that would put them at like 6, right? Because Eagle would drop.
No,
And
we
with,
put them at 5.
Put them at 5, right? Get a Lincoln rematch. Well,
We
if
put them at
Lincoln
5.
stays at 4.
Yes. Which
ooh,
they should, but yeah.
Whoa. So, I mean, if we're going down this rabbit hole of hypotheticals, then like South Shore at 6, and then we could see like E-Hall or Tottenville at 3. Oh my
Yo, these
god.
playoffs is fucking
That's
this quarterfinal
crazy.
is gonna
That's
be
gonna be the best.
fire.
We're gonna have some of the best like 4A quarterfinals that like I could ever remember. Like last year, the 4A quarterfinals were not this fun.
yeah, no.
JFK Curtis was good, but Wheeler.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge fan of the reseeding thing, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
Hold on. No, I am a fan of that. That fucking makes sense. Like Canarsie schedule. I mean, I know why you're laughing. Keep that in the chat. Just know.
Stunty is awesome.
You guys are amazing,
Just
man.
know. You have power, but I got the ultimate power. Just remember that before you talk crazy. Jared, I actually want to get your thoughts. I know we kind of went into a tangent and it seemed like the chat was following us, so it wasn't so bad. But if Lincoln beat E-Hall,
Whoa.
who would you have as the 3 seed? E-Hall or Lincoln at that point? Both of them would be on 2 losses.
Has to be Lincoln because
It's got to be Lincoln. I
they'll
mean,
get the power
why does it have to be Lincoln?
because they'll get all of the power points.
yeah.
From
They'll
like
get the
all
power
of the
points.
teams that Erasmus has beaten, which
But at
includes
that point,
Tottenville.
oh,
No. Hold on. Because Lincoln lost to Tottenville and Curtis, right? E-Hall's 2 losses would be to Curtis and Lincoln.
Right.
So I don't see how. I mean, I personally would rank E-Hall's wins higher than because E-Hall would have beaten. Oh, let me think for a second. Because they beat Tottenville.
With that win, Lincoln will get all those power points.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Really take the room.
I mean, they're separated by a lot. Almost 200 right now.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Let me see the poll in the chat. So the question was if the number one seed, who's the number one seed if all 3 of the teams are 7-1? So after 42 votes, it's 62%. Curtis, 26% E-Hall, 12% Tottenville. But yeah, I guess it kind of all comes down to the people at the PSAL. No, it's just fun. I wish I guess they can't. I guess they can't really come out and tell us anything. So Mac will be right back. So yeah, man. So while we wait for Mac, I think we can get started on Eagle South Shore. So I'll give Jared your final words on it. On this one, man. I mean, this is a game. This is one of those games where I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like E-Hall deserves a championship. Tottenville deserves a championship from the performance, but that's just not how sports work. You don't get what you deserve, man. So, your final words on this, Jared.
Yeah, both teams played really, really hard, and we just talked about hypotheticals. I don't know if it's gonna be in the semifinals. I don't know if it's gonna be in the finals. I just really, really want a part 2, and I think everyone agrees with me. And I think when if that second game does happen and both teams hopefully at full strength, it has the possibility of being even better and even better than last year's championship game, which is crazy to say. But when you look at, what these teams could do, both defenses, both offenses, like what they can accomplish at their best, it's going to be something crazy. So this was a good game. And I can't wait for the playoffs. And especially with the fact that, the semifinals are going to be really interesting, even if they don't play each other, because they got to get through some really good teams.
No, absolutely. And one of those teams that someone might have to get through could be South Shore, man. So 31-6 South Shore over Eagle Academy, man. So, okay, I guess I have to start, right? I can't throw this to
I was
you.
just gonna say, Andre, like you need to start with this one. You need to.
All right. Eagle Academy versus South Shore. If you don't have the time to watch the entire game, all you have to do, yes, lemon pepper wings, yes, right. So,
Crazy social media. Sorry, go on.
social media is crazy.
Crazy.
After the game, man, the South Shore guys are coming over to me. I'm in the booth, and they're just like, "Yo, Dre, we got some wings for you, dog. We saved some for you, dog." I was like, "Yo, they're killing them." You saw they had us in the.
Dude, I almost
had us in
Uber
the
Eats
clip.
Wingstop. Yes, man. I almost Uber Eats to Wingstop after that. I was thinking about it.
Yeah, so man, so Wingstop, shout you freaking sponsor us, Wingstop, sponsor us.
Yeah.
Um, if you don't have time to watch the entire game, all you have to do is watch the opening kickoff. Watch the opening kickoff, look at the bottom of the screen, and watch Tajay Schulters. That's all you have to do. Tajay Schulters is running down the field with no intention of tackling anyone. All he wanted to do was send a message and set the tone. That's all he wanted to do. He absolutely crashed into somebody. He crashes into him and pushes him back to the floor. And that was the summary of this game. If you don't have the time, that was the game. And everybody, if you have a problem with a play like that, I heard that there's a new sport called pickleball. You can go pick that up because this kind of rivalry game, and yes, this is a rivalry game for everyone. All right, let's start there. First of all, everyone's like, Andre, this isn't a rivalry
Yeah, I
game.
saw that too, man.
South Shore, South Shore's never played them before. South Shore is gonna beat them. Oh, look at this. They beat them by 100 points. Of course, it's not a rivalry, bro. Have anyone watched college football? How many rivalry? I think Penn State. Penn State. Let me think of a big rivalry in college football. Whatever, doesn't matter. Like I think Ohio State and Illinois has a rivalry technically. Ohio State has beaten Illinois like 30 years in a row.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
still a
say, like,
rivalry.
yeah, there's plenty of those out
These
there.
two schools compete at everything. Like and between the coaches, between how close the players are, yes, this is a rivalry. Like, duh, it is. Um, and listen, shout out to the Vikings. And first shout out I want to give is to coach, offensive coordinator Dave Legree, because that offense is tremendous, and I really think it evolved closer. I think it's very close to being what they want it to be. I honestly don't even have many complaints. Of course we said, when are you guys really going to unleash the hounds on the offense? Their offense has so much pace to it, and the play design is so difficult to cover in high school because the route concepts look so similar. And the way I describe that, let's say one play, you know, they run, they have Tajay and Rich Perkins on the right. They bubble Rich Perkins and they throw him the bubble and Tajay blocks, right? But in the next play, they bubble Rich Perkins so that widens out the defense, but then Tajay slips behind them for a slam. That was the one of the first plays where Tajay had the big catch. He actually ended up fumbling, but they were South Shore were able to recover. And there are just so many plays like that, running hitches. As simple as it sounds, but running hitches, then you hit them with the hitch and go. And Adrian Antoine should have had a touchdown. Nick Cyrus just missed them on that. So this offense is tough, man. You know, they can go five wide, and Nick Cyrus can. He's really like that. Like if there's any question, if you're still questioning if Nick Cyrus is like that, let me answer it for you. Yes, Nick Cyrus is like that. Like, like the throws Nick was making, man, on the run, he has people hanging on top, hanging from him, completing passes. Let's just start there, Jared. And that's where you can come in. Just talk about Nick Cyrus and his
Yeah,
performance
I
today.
mean, Nick Cyrus, he was absolutely excellent for South Shore, and dude, like his arm and his accuracy. I mean, I saw one of the throws. I don't know, it might have been later in the game where he slung it downfield, and it was just perfect, right in the breadbasket. And he has that type of ability. If there's a conversation, who's the best quarterback in the PSAL? I mean, Nick Cyrus has to be in it and has to be a front runner to say the least.
It's over,
Come
Jared.
on.
I think it's over, Jared.
You think it's over?
I think we know who the best. I think it's. Let's be real here.
I think the bigger conversation at this point when it comes to Nick Cyrus, and I honestly should have rephrased it to begin with, is let's take a look at quarterbacks around the state. I feel like that could be a pretty fun conversation at some point. I know. I'm sorry. I mean, Coach Ed's gonna come after me after that one.
I was about to say it's tough. That's a tough.
Not the best in the state. Definitely, like he's a Division I talent. I saw you put that on your Instagram, Andre. He's really, really good. So Cyrus was great, but what I really liked with South Shore offensively, I think it was definitely either first or second drive. Man, it was a flashback to the Rising Stars Bowl, seeing Daniel Germain run the rock hard, and he ran over a defender to get into the end zone. And Germain is just talented defensively. We're praising him on that side of the ball. But once November comes, South Shore is going to have to run the football. They can't just give it to Tajay every play. Daniel Germain is going to be important at that running back position, especially when it comes to the physicality that the Vikings are going to need to make a deep run in the 4A. Germain's going to be a big part of it.
No, absolutely. Coach Mack, I know you're back now. How about you? Your thoughts on South Shore's offense, man?
All right. Let's put the offense aside for a second. I don't know what was more disrespectful. Eating Wingstop on Eagles Field or ordering Wingstop from Uber Eats at halftime.
They did. It was that. Oh, man.
Yo, all right. Wait a second. You cannot have hot Wingstop ready by the end of the game. Then going around doing a promo for Wingstop and letting everybody get flats. All right, let's just say, because I heard you guys talking about the rivalry. Let's just say that prior to this game, it wasn't a rivalry. If you're eating Wingstop on my football field after we just played a football game, right now we have a rivalry. Eagles should take that Eagles should take that so personal. Like, it has. All right, if it wasn't a rivalry before, cool. Every time Eagles see South Shore now, it is personal. You cannot eat wings on my field after the game and have it recorded, and they're rubbing the brown Wingstop bag. Like, I was honestly ready to order some Wingstop after seeing those videos. Like, they're showing the wings, the kids, everybody's coming to get one. Like, all right, man, that's. And what was the score at halftime? I'm not even sure.
Jeez, at halftime it was
it out of hand?
They scored 3. They scored 3, right? Hold on. I think they scored 3. Where can I look that up the fastest?
I think it was.
I think 20, it was 3.
20 something.
23?
23? It was 23.
Let me see. It was. Oh, they don't have it on freaking.
Damn.
Thank you, PSAL.
So I guess it was that, convincing that they can go ahead and order the wings at halftime for it to be there by the end of the game. 23-0, somebody said.
Yeah, it was 23-0.
Yeah, man. Moving forward, I'm not sure if these teams are going to see each other in the playoffs, but it's no way. It's no way. If you were home, that's one thing. If it was a home game for South Shore and they ordered the wings or they had somebody go pick up the wings, fine. But you cannot come to Rutland Road and order Wingstop and then eat it on the field. You cannot do that, man. It's so disrespectful. And listen, right now I think South Shore is like the Colorado of the PSAL. Like, it has to be said. Marketing, everything they're doing right now is like, we're gonna play you guys, and you guys are gonna see this on social media for the rest of the week. until we get on to our next opponent. Every week is something different, man, and I got to take my hats off to what they're doing over there. They're gonna miss a couple rivalry games. Eagles definitely one of them for the next season, or I'm not sure they're gonna be able to play in the postseason in the playoffs, but definitely looking forward to that game. If it happens again, because I know Eagles, they're not going to fold. I'm hoping they're not going to fold. And these guys made a reel and the screen recorded the podcast. And I said, I did say the game could not be a BTA game. And what's even more disrespectful is that they made sure it was BTA. Like at a certain point, they could have just kind of ran the ball, but nah. They kind of made sure that they was in there to whip ass. They was in there to whip ass, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yo, listen, and real quick, I just want to say this again. South Shore, all your coaches, never change. Never
Word.
change. And if anyone doesn't like it, I will repeat. I heard that they're building some pickleball courts across Brooklyn. You can pick that up and go play some pickleball if you don't like those kind of things, man. This is top level competition. If you don't want them to eat wings, don't let them come into your crib and throw you over on the floor.
Yeah.
And Mac, I don't know if you heard me, but I'll repeat it just for you. If you don't have time to watch the whole game, Monty, Google pickleball, Monty. If you don't have time to watch the whole game, just watch the opening kickoff where Tajay runs down the field, has no intention on tackling anyone. He just crashes into the first equal player he can find.
And the crazy part about that, Tajay's a tough kid, but my man is all of 5'7", maybe 170, 165, maybe. Yo, went down there and set the tone, man. Like, at some point, we gotta do better. We gotta do better.
No,
that game should have been a lot more closer than it was.
Yeah, Jared, your final thought. Actually, not your final thought. Just go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, no, Mac, you really got to look at that hit if you haven't, from Tajay on the opening kickoff. It was it was big, and it was like, wow, okay, like we're here. This is gonna be really interesting. And yeah, no, great point, because I was talking about Daniel Jermaine running football and everything and the South Shore offense. Great point bringing up the Wingstop, because that's gonna be brought up for a while.
Yeah.
Like next year, it's gonna be brought up, and then say next year's games at South Shore, when it's the games at Eagle, everyone's like, remember the last time they were here? They were eating wings on the field.
Oh my god!
I mean, that's one of it's personal, to say the least. And if the football branch of South Shore Eagle wasn't existent, then yeah, you could say the rivalry is born officially.
Oh, it's born
officially, even though it was already a rivalry. Like Andre already knew it, but now there is no doubt. I don't want to see any story post ever saying South Shore Eagle, it's not a rivalry. No, it definitely is. So that was crazy. And yeah, man, I think, and what's interesting with South Shore, of course, a lot of people don't like them because of how they act. But I will say it's sorry, man, this comment section's killing me. It does bring eyes, though. It does bring eyes to a lot of games and a lot of programs and a lot of players. So that does happen. And yeah, and South Shore's Instagram post, not only clipping the podcast, which I was like, all right, like, of course that can happen and that has happened to us, but man, like the SpongeBob like bikini bottom.
Yo,
yeah, the
Yeah,
announcement.
that was
I
funny.
was like, oh
That was
my
funny.
goodness, and then right to crazy, but wow, unreal.
Yeah, and before we leave South Shore, I just want to give a gigantic two shout outs I want to give. So let me go to first Christian Etienne, number 5, absolute beast. Like he has Division One physicality for sure, but he also displayed his motor. I think he has a Division One motor. Honestly, he is running all over the field, sideline to sideline, linebacker. You know, I mean, the huge test versus JFK. We'll definitely talk about that. I still think there's some vulnerabilities in South Shore's run defense. I think that they need to. We'll talk. I don't know if there's anything in the film I can see, but there's definitely some vulnerability in the middle of their defense. But Christian Etienne is coming off at the edge and is just a beast, man. So huge shout out to Christian. And the last shout out I want to give, and it's a special shout out to me for sure, and that is to number 12, Adrian Antoine.
Yeah.
Listen, we've been, I think all media people have been doing a great job of having more coverage for the games, especially here at Sage Media, and it's a double-edged sword, right? We see you guys at your highest, but we also see you at your lowest. And in that Canarsie game, we all saw the big drop. And you know if a lot of people on the internet don't like to be honest, but I'll sit here and be honest. Like, I've had drops, I've had touchdowns called over me. I'm sure Mac has had, people beat him for a sack. Jared's had issues on the field, I'm sure. And no one likes to highlight that. No one wants that to be on a highlight reel or whatever. And it's hard when you are, right? And, huge shout out to Adrian just coming back with all the confidence in the world in the post game interview. He's like, yes, I saw y'all on the net. It's all good though. Like, you saw
Yeah.
what I did today. And that's the absolute mentality that everyone needs to see. Like, don't just watch highlights. Watch the adversity some of these players go through and how they come back from it. So I'll toss that over to you guys.
Yeah, you can tell that kid's a great kid, man.
Yeah.
He's like
Great
super
kid.
positive. You need kids like that on your team to just uplift the locker room, keep everybody positive. South Shore does their videos at practice. He's always like seeming upbeat, doing
I was waiting for you to see that one,
yeah.
Wait, which one?
Yeah.
Which one are you talking about?
No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man, you definitely need a kid like that in your locker room, man. Seems like a great kid. And they're doing great things at South Shore. Not gonna lie, they're doing amazing things at South Shore.
Jared?
Yeah, it's that game. It was fun. Wish it was a little bit closer, but that's how it goes sometimes. And yeah, I can't. I'm really excited because I think there's a really good chance both teams make the playoffs. They might not go against each other, but hey, let's see what they can do when they're going against a higher seed.
Yeah. All right. Eagle Academy. I got two pages this time.
Yeah, Jay, this is your segment, man.
Oh
This is
man,
your
who paid? Oh,
this is
man.
your segment here.
Right.
Take your time.
So, in all seriousness, huge shout out to number 3, Travis Harris. Let's start there. Travis Harris is an absolute dog. Mentality monster. Did not care what the score was. He was at the level of competitiveness, of execution, of focus needed for this kind of game, because South Shore is a top team in this league, right? So you have to have your level up here. You have to exceed what your level is when you're in that kind of matchup. Why? Because that team is coming into your crib with all the confidence in the world. So you have to be able to knock them off of their horse, right? So huge shout out to Travis Harris, one of the best players, one of the brightest stars in the class of 2026. Absolutely. Freaking sky is the limit for him, man, for real. Um, just loved how he played. When Cody Williams went out, Travis is in at quarterback, just trying to make a play happen, doing everything he can for real. So huge shout out to Travis Harris, man, for real. Another huge shout out I want to give is to number 52, Matthew Taylor. If you watch that tape back like I did, they could not block Matthew Taylor. That boy was wreaking havoc on that defensive line. And pretty sure he's only a junior. So I'm really excited to see more of Matthew. If you see just his reaction getting off the ball, it's tremendous, man. So Matthew Taylor is definitely one of the brightest spots for Eagle for sure. Um, do I have any other bright spots? I don't. All right. Um, you know, it's a process for Eagle, right? You know, I know Mac, you were saying, yo, are they not who we thought they were? Like Eagle is who we thought they were. They're a team that's trying to build to be able to compete at that level. And they're not there yet, right? They had 2 tests this year. JFK, South Shore, right? Failed the test, right? Let's be real here. They failed the test. They didn't do well enough. Yes, I will say shout out to the Eagle O-line as well. I did think the Eagle O-line played well. Relatively. I felt like they didn't do great at I feel like they didn't do great at picking up the blitz for sure. Um, yeah. Shout out to everybody, Brandon, Teresio, all you guys. There's been a lot of questions about the quarterback. Cody Williams. I've known Cody since he was like a freshman, and it was a tough game for Cody. Like no lie. South Shore were bringing a lot of pressure. He ended up getting hurt, and I do think that I wish that the offense could play at a higher level. It's not there yet. They have 2 more games. The season's not over. Pretty much, if they win these 2 games, they're in the playoffs. But we kind of see the level that Eagles at. They're a team that's going to try to scrap to be into the playoffs, and they can't compete with the top teams right now unless something really changes. As far as the offense goes, so what? It was 8 points this game. Did they score 8? No, 6 points this game. 6 points in the previous game, right, against Wagner. And then who they played before that? It doesn't matter. It's not good enough. It's not good enough, right? And just like Kamarion said, Kamarion from E-Hall, he literally said, the offense, we got you. And that's the mentality Eagle needs to have. It's too much, oh, offense isn't doing this, oh, the defense is on the field. It doesn't matter. I don't care if the defense has to be on the field 100 times. How long was the E-Hall defense on the field? Time after time after time, E-Hall made a stop. If you have to make 9 stops to win a game, you have to make 9 stops to win a game. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the offense had issues. Yes, maybe the playbook should open up, but it has the baseline, the floor has to raise for Eagle Academy. The floor has to raise for Eagle Academy. I see Nappy saying that Eagle's not E-Hall, but it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about running a 4-4, benching 400 pounds. I'm just
Drake,
talking about mentality.
Drake, can I ask
Go
you
ahead, man.
something?
Sure.
I see some of the comments, man, and a few people are saying kind of the same thing, and I wanted to get your point of view on it. There was actually one comment I thought was very funny. Somebody said 44 C blast. That's like an old school play out of the Power I. Eagles offense. Do you think it is how can I put this? Do you think it's the scheme? Do you think they'll be a little more productive if they try to go with a different scheme, or do you think it's just the execution in general?
Yeah, and again, real quick, No, I did not compare Eagle to E-Hall. I'm saying that Eagle need to have the same mentality that E-Hall had. So please listen. I'm talking about E-Hall is not making excuses. They're not crying about their offense not producing. They're going out and getting another stop and getting the ball back to their offense. That's the point I'm trying to say. To answer your question, um, so the first thing I want to say is, I know there's some players in the chat. So the answer is the scheme, right? Like I personally do believe that the scheme needs to improve. But to you players in the chat, you have to go play football. If it's what did you say, 44C blast or
Yeah,
whatever,
44C
you better
blast. Yeah.
block whatever it is, you better block that like your life depends on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the scheme is for the adults to figure out. The scheme is for us talking heads to talk about. You players run 44C blast as hard as you can.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yes, I have been very public about I don't love the scheme, but I think there could be some improvements for it. And the season's not over. You know what I'm saying? There was coming into this game, I did say, the Wagner game was a big disappointment. The Madison game was a big disappointment because I felt like they could have worked more of the offense in that game. And I feel like it set them back in their development because the game, like this was the game for 40. Oh, I keep saying it wrong. What is it?
44,
44C? What is this
yeah,
y'all
44,
talking about?
44C blast.
44C blast.
Yeah.
This was the game for 44C blast, right? This was the game for it.
Nah, I get you. I get you.
But it's like execution. I mean, how many snaps were fumbled? How many handoffs were fumbled, man? You didn't even give yourself a chance in the game.
Right, right.
Um, you didn't even give yourself a chance in the game, and that's where it's disappointing because we're asking you guys to have focus and do those kind of things because we talk about if you make one mistake against a top tier team, you're not gonna come out of it well.
Right.
Make six mistakes. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, and I definitely agree that going into the game, if I'm Eagle, the plan would be to keep South Shore's offense off the field as long as possible. But with that, you need first downs. Um, and I see some people in the chat just saying like they got kids playing both ways. Yo, in high school
Everyone does.
football, yeah, in high school football, that's a thing. I mean, some teams are fortunate enough to have kids just play defense and kids just play offense, but that's not your typical high school team. Um, a lot of kids go both ways, just across the board in high school football, especially if the kid is a dog. Yeah,
Cyrus Cardona for Tottenville is going both ways.
a bunch of kids go both ways, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a roster with 70 kids, then all right, yeah, you probably have enough decent kids or serviceable kids that can play just defense and the kids that can just play this offense. But your regular high school team, man, you're gonna have kids go both ways. That's just how it is. And there's nothing wrong with that because on the next level, if your quarterback is playing safety, he might be a better safety than he is a quarterback. And he'll have an opportunity to have film on both sides of the ball and let the college kind of decide where they want to play him.
And a couple of people, I saw some comments here. I always read back the comments after the game in the live chat. And some people here saying, "Oh, like maybe Eagles should be in the 3A." Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This defense gave up, a lot of points to South Shore. Oh, whoa! I mean, South Shore is going to score a lot of points on everyone. Gave up a lot of points to JFK, but the defense is excellent. Um, the offense needs work. All right, it's all on display for everyone to see. But Eagle Academy, you have 2 games. You win the 2 games. You're in the playoffs in the top division for the first time in your history. There's a ton of teams
Really?
that would love to trade places with you across the league, across Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? This season is this season is not over at all. you got to go to a Utrecht team, and we'll talk about Utrecht. I have the stats right here. You say that they're on. Yes, they haven't won a game, but Ishmael Asindor doesn't care that they haven't won a game. Ishmael Asindor rushed for 204 yards and 2 touchdowns. So you guys got to go into their crib and beat them this weekend. You know what I'm saying? So win
Dre,
2
I just heard
games.
you mention this will be the first time. This is the first time that Eagle will be in the playoffs in the 4A or in the top
Yeah, it's
division.
only their second. It's only their second year in the top division.
This is it. Okay, I didn't know that, man. Wow.
Yeah, shout out to Matthew Taylor in the chat. Like, this is everyone go back and listen to Kamarion Thomas in that interview. That's the mentality you have to have. I'm not asking people to run 4-4. I'm not asking them to bench 400 pounds. I want you to be a mentality monster. No matter what happens on that field with the offense, no matter what happens on that field with the defense, you go out there and do your job. Yes, Eagle, you have to lick your wounds, right? You know, whatever you want to say, wings, BTA, to the winner goes the spoils. That's it. But now it's up to you to pick yourself up and go back and play.
Oh my God.
So Jared, your thoughts on this? I know we haven't gotten you in this one.
Oh man. Just about Eagle overall. I kind of like your point though about how important next week is for them. And honestly, how important next week is, and then the week after against McKee, who we're gonna get to in a little bit. McKee played New Utrecht. Both teams showed some talent and everything. So we're gonna get into that game and how that could impact the Eagle. They still have to take care of business if they want to
Yeah.
make the playoffs. Like that's gonna be huge, and they've had a little bit of a tough stretch, just barely losing to Wagner, heartbreaker there, and then the South Shore game. So this offense has been a rut, but it's a great opportunity for them because New Utrecht hasn't had the best season defensively, so this could kind of be a bounce back spot. But then also this Eagle defense going against a New Utrecht rushing attack that has had a lot of success. So that really has me excited for a couple of reasons. So I'm really gonna look at how that one goes. And trust me, New Utrecht right now, they're thinking, okay, we're not making the playoffs. Why should Eagle Academy make the playoffs? They're gonna try to play spoiler. So this is gonna be
Absolutely. I love that point. And it's a place that Eagle has lost 2 years in a row. They've lost to Utrecht 2 years in a row. I've been there for both of them.
Wait. Eagle lost to Utrecht last year?
Correct.
No, Utrecht was like they were really
It's a tough place to play.
They had Cameron last year. Yeah.
They had a Kill who was just
Kill. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Okay.
I thought they were gonna make the playoffs last year, but
I have Eagle
too little, too late.
I have Eagle winning out. I think they should handle business at Utrecht, and they should handle business with McKee.
Yeah, and real quick, I see Dave QB talking a lot in the chat. Like, listen, man, these kids are definitely out there putting their best effort out there. I know that maybe the level isn't where it needs to be, but there's definitely I see what you're saying, but I'm not saying you're being disrespectful, but the quarterbacks, the Eagle players are playing as hard as they can, absolutely, and I do believe that they're going to come with a lot. I think we're going to see a lot of improvement in that Utrecht game, because we're here watching these young kids' stories, right? Coach Mac, myself, you in the chat. Hold on. You in the chat, you don't have another snap left. We sitting here watching these kids' journey. It's theirs turn. You know what I'm saying? So of course we can be Stephen A. Smith and analyze, how they play. But it's their turn now. So just want to get that out there because I think it's very easy to be so critical, but let's be easy on the kids. I think that's enough. Did I miss anything on Eagle? I think I got everything. Shout out to Travis Harris and Matthew Taylor again. And hopefully, we see some improvements in that offense. Big game against Utrecht. Any last words on this one?
That's it, man. That's it. Next 2 weeks is big for Eagle, man.
Yeah, and as a program, you gotta go through your lumps. This is a lump.
Yeah,
This is a
definitely.
lump. When Eagle is a powerhouse in the 4A, we'll all come back here and we'll say, hey, remember when Eagle South Shore was eating wings on their field?
Yeah.
That's how, was it the villain origin story? That's how everything works. So yes, I know we have JFK and Clinton to go over, and we will go over that one. But there was a game that I think we need to talk about this game first. So JFK guys, if you're in the chat, forgive me, but we have to go over Curtis 13, Lincoln 6. Coach Mack. Actually, no. I'm gonna give this one to Jared first. Coach Mack had the other two first.
All right, yeah, I wanted to actually confirm.
Hold on a second. Oh, sorry. What you want to confirm, real quick?
I wanted to confirm something in the sense because I did not watch the entire Lincoln Curtis game on Lincoln Media. Was Jarrett Sarit out of the game?
He was out. I didn't see him, and he didn't have a stat, so I think he was out.
Okay, because I didn't see him either when I was watching. I didn't know if he was maybe limited or anything like that. Man, for him not to play, arguably the best defensive lineman in the league, and Curtis, their front did what they did against Lincoln. What's up?
Hold on, Jared. I'm gonna throw this one. I'm gonna set you up right now, Mr. Valluzzi. What if I told you Lincoln had 135 total yards of offense?
Not just rushing or passing, total.
Mr. Valluzzi.
Yeah.
What if I told you Solomon Dekotu accounted for 81 of those 135 yards? If I do that math correctly, that is 60% of the offense. Take it away, my friend.
That running defense, excuse me, stopping the run this season for Curtis, it has been insane. Listen, you're going against Kennedy, and back when they did it against them, stopped them completely, dominated against Kennedy. They dominated the line of scrimmage against Erasmus Hall. They really played well against E Hall's offensive line, and were bottling people up. And it was impressive then, and now doing it against Lincoln, they're running wild against Tottenville. Kyan's one of the best players in the city, and Cody Gillespie is really good, and Lincoln's got this experienced and talented offensive line. For Curtis to really slow down Lincoln's run game, I had a feeling they were going to perform well against Lincoln, and they're going to slow down Lincoln's offense. Not to this extent, though. And they did it anyways. That's why you got to have the 1A, 1B conversation when you talk about best defense in the PSAL, because Curtis isn't going anywhere right now when you talk about that. So it was really, really just wild with how well they played. And also our guy TYJ, saw one of his videos, man, that Curtis kicking advantage as well. Full display.
For real.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ibrahim, I'm pretty sure his name is. I can't find it in my notes. But pretty sure it's Ibrahim. Huge shout out to him. And also shout out to the first kicker mixtape.
Yeah, I loved it. Kicker mixtape, and also chat shouting out the Curtis offensive line. Yeah, their offensive line's been good all year. But that Lincoln's defense was also great, kind of defensive battle. So
Coach Mack.
Think
who real quick, Coach Mack.
Uh-huh.
Who had a better defensive performance, Ehol or Curtis?
So I was just about to say that. I think Lincoln has the second best offense in the city, a close second to one. For Curtis to hold them to 6 points, super impressive. That's. I didn't think going into the season, I didn't think Curtis defense was this good. This game, I watched this game back on YouTube. Yo, Curtis is this the Curtis
Corey
time
Corey was running for his life all game.
Yo. I mean, yeah, I think it's a 1A 1B as far as defensive wise. Lincoln's, I'm telling you, Lincoln's offense is like legit, like super legit. I'm telling you, and in the playoffs, it'll show. But Curtis defense, man, wow, like major props to them, man. Flying around the field, stopping the run, stopping the pass, like you said, putting QB pressure on Corey. This is going to be super interesting moving forward, just to see how it pans out. And then I also want to give props to Lincoln's defense, because I think, you know what I'm saying. I don't want to kind of undermine that. Lincoln played a great game defensively. I think Curtis's offense is legit as well. So for them to even hold them to 13, man, is this is going to be very, very interesting moving forward. And I think these teams are going to get better. These teams are going to get better moving forward. And the weather is going to get colder. So I think things are going to change a little bit as well. So it's all about how people adapt to, to the climate as well.
Yeah, and I want to give a huge shout out to Cody Gillespie. He had a huge interception where Curtis was about to come and say goodnight, driving the ball down the field.
Yes.
Cody Gillespie gets interception in the end zone. Huge shout out to him. Now, I'm going to say this. This seems kind of crazy. I don't know if I saw this, but this is what the stats said. Huge shout out to Jalen Newby, 15 tackles.
That's solid, man.
He plays safety. I'm very confident he plays safety.
Oh no, Jalen 1000% plays safety. Yeah,
15 tackles.
He's coming up and wrapping up like that, man. That's good to hear.
Damn, like whoa, like I saw that. I literally I was literally like, is that right? And also huge shout out to Ja'Kai Paul and Ron Jones. I think Ron Jones is one of the best players in his class as a linebacker.
Ooh,
and Ja'Kai Paul. Say it again.
Number 57.
Right, sorry, I can't hear you.
Ron Jones, number 57.
Yes, number 57.
Solid.
Yeah, 9 tackles. Him and Ja'Kai both had 9 tackles. Ja'Kai. He's another guy. We're just talking about people going both ways. Ja'Kai's going both ways at linebacker and wide receiver. I definitely think Ja'Kai definitely has like the physicality for like a big Division I program, or even if it's not Division I, maybe Division II or something. Ja'Kai Paul, great player. So huge shout out to the Lincoln defense for the performance. It's a very gutsy performance, and of course, definitely want to give shout outs. I know, it was a very emotional night for them. Of course, can't go past saying that, putting on Mr. Perkins on the wall. So definitely shout out to everyone. Actually, let me see everybody. Make sure you have put this in the chat. Definitely spam that in the chat for sure. Because it was a very emotional night for them. Some things are bigger than football. And I want to give a shout out. So, of course, you see on the screen is Quadair Gomez. And I came on here and I put a list up of top running backs. I'm not changing my list. But Quadair, you're making it very difficult
Yeah, he's
because
solid.
you are playing. Because when you come to making lists and it comes to opinions, especially someone like me, I feel like like us, we come on here and talk. We have to have like a baseline of what we make our opinions on. And one thing for me that I weigh heavily is how you play in big games. Quadair Gomez's performance in the E-Hall game and now in this Lincoln game, both on the road, is absolutely tremendous. So how about we just go there? Quadair Gomez with 81 yards and a touchdown. And he was a key part of this game because Curtis had a game plan. Keep the ball on the ground and keep it away from Lincoln. In that first half, Lincoln had two meaningful possessions. Two. So Jared, how about you talk about Quadair? I know he's one of your favorites.
Yeah, he's a monster, and it was interesting because last year when I saw him as a freshman, didn't look like a freshman at all, especially with the physicality and how he was running. And he had a really good season, but it was like, okay, how is he going to do during his like quote unquote like sophomore year? Like, is it going to be a sophomore slump, or is it gonna, or is it? But that was not the case at all. He truly took that next step. And we've talked about a lot of amazing 2027 prospects in New York City. Quadir Gomez is right up there with the best of them, and he's been phenomenal. And yeah, like look at that one right there. He might be number one, as he's really been the key to this Curtis offense, because he also opens up the pass game. I know they didn't really pass the ball a ton last game. They didn't have a lot of success through the air, but if you look at what they did earlier in the season when Gomez got going, man, they were really able to pass the ball. So he's a beast, and he's been a big reason why this entire Curtis offense has been succeeding.
Mac, your thoughts on Quadair?
Yeah, man, this kid he's tough, man. He's having a great season. Another workload running back, man. They give this guy a lot of carries, and he's doing what he has to do. Curtis also has a kid that comes in and gives Quadir a blow.
Yes, his name
Yeah,
is, and I might be saying it wrong, but Nick Mukaza.
Is that
Mukazes.
44?
Kazis, yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's I know when I was talking to the coach over there, I think people call him Mookie, but he's a little bit of a different back, but he's really
That's
good.
44, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
44.
Yo, another solid kid that's kind of getting overlooked. Like he
yes,
comes in and he's productive, like super productive.
Mhm.
He runs hard. He's not like fancy. You know what I'm saying? I think that kid he's a hidden gem. Shout out to Hidden Gems.
Um, Wait, you saying Quadair is a hidden gem? Oh no, I'm talking
No,
about
no,
Nick. You're talking
no.
about Nick. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, of
40,
course. I was like Quadair.
44.
Like what? Like yeah, Nick. Yeah,
No,
for
no, no.
sure, for sure.
44. 44.
No, no, and he did a great job. I mean, 93 yards on 20 attempts, and his 20 attempts was crazy. They really had a game plan, two excellent game plans on the road. Of course, they didn't air it out much, but you know, tremendous job by Coach Gambarella and another player on the screen. We talk about top defensive players of the year. Saquon Lawton, if you watch that film, number 0 is all over the field, man. That Curtis, like I spoke about, the Curtis linebacking crew much earlier in the season, and I was saying how good of tacklers they are, but Mac, like just talk about like they were just ferocious. They were ferocious in Coney Island, man.
Flying around, man. And that's what I'm saying. And this is great. I mean, I know it's the whole big comparison between them and E Hall. Yo, it's kind of like 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
Both defenses are playing like lights out right now. Flying around, making tackles, covering downfield. making big stops. That's like the name of the game, man. Making big stops. I want to see how Curtis looks against Tottenville. I think that's going to be now.
Man.
Now I'm questioning myself. I think now I'm saying this may be a low scoring game. 13-10? Like, is that what we've come to? Like, I always thought, like, 20 something. I don't know if that's happening. I'm thinking like 14, 12, one of those games.
Not for real. And I know a few people are talking about Solomon Dekotu in the chat. They definitely shout out to him. If you saw his touchdown, sorry to go off topic, but if you saw his touchdown, I mean, it was barbecue chicken, man. It was one-on-one coverage, put his foot into the ground, faked out, went in wide open. I mean, Solomon is just tremendous. Jared, any words on the linebacking core? Also, just a huge shout out to Anthony Gambardella
Oh yeah.
and Javon Mitchell. They were both excellent. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the linebacking crew for Curtis, Jared?
Yeah, Gambardella. I mean, coach's kid obviously has some great IQ, and but with him though, he's like, of course he has like the great IQ, but he plays bigger than he is, and he's an athlete. Like you should see him on the lacrosse field. He's actually a great lacrosse
Oh yeah.
player for
Wow.
for Curtis. Yeah, no, not a lot of people know that he's a good lacrosse player, and yeah, he really delivers at linebacker, and they have just a great core with Javon Mitchell, Saquon Lawton, and most importantly, the production's there because on paper it looks good, but it's one thing to to look good and then actually do it against Lincoln, E Hall, Brooklyn's finest. So that's pretty big. And yeah, their linebacking core is really really good. And I'm also glad you brought up Solomon Dekotu because man, when we're gonna have more conversations about the top receivers, and Solomon just keeps making sure that we have to talk about him every single week. Lincoln's got a big game, and he's playing well. So it's yeah, all in all, a lot of good stuff from those players.
For real. So I know we're running a little late on time, so we have quite a few more games to go through, honestly. But shout out to me. I don't even mind it because I felt like these three games we had to take our time with these three games. Honestly,
Yeah.
like it would be a disservice to everyone not to take our time with these three games. But there was another game in rivalry week, and that was JFK versus DeWitt Clinton. 32-0 JFK. Jared, what if I told you Clinton gets two stops, they force two turnovers after being first and goal, turnovers on downs, right? So Clinton defense did a great job in the first quarter.
Yeah.
What if I told you in 1 minute, in 1 to 2 minutes of game time, the score went from 0-0 to 18-0?
It's so funny you say that, Andre, because on Friday I was in and out. I mentioned that with like the Tottenville E Hall game. I looked towards the end of the first quarter. I'm like 0-0 game. Like welcome to rivalry week. Like throw the records out the window. And then I turn it back on, and I was like, Kennedy's up three scores. Like it's nothing. Four scores. And I was like, wow. So that's something, but that shows like what JFK can do and who they are and how quickly they can score. That's crazy. But honestly, man, in that kind of rivalry game, I feel like anything could happen. And wow, that's nuts. So you said 1 to 2 minutes of game time. It was that quick.
And honestly, I might be exaggerating. Listen to this sequence. When I say exaggerating, it might have actually been like 45 seconds, to be
Oh
honest with
my
you.
goodness. All right, let's hear it.
So, touchdown, safety, return to safety punt for touchdown. Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Yeah. Wow.
When he comes back, I mean,
Yeah.
what? How did? How would you even react to that as a coach?
Listen, this is another, and like I said, I like where the PSAL is going. I'm glad to see the Bronx teams is getting in the mix.
For real.
Yo, seriously, like, I think this has been a rivalry like for years, right?
Yeah.
But this is a little over the disrespect of Eaton Flats on Eagles Field. Leading up to this game, the Kennedy coaches were posting on Instagram. Everybody can see it. If you just follow the coaches from Kennedy, you'll see it. They're posting, if you are going to Clinton, if you're going to high school at Clinton, leave. You cannot post that on Instagram. They're saying you're wasting your time. This is going to be BTA. They don't know what they're doing over there. I mean, just talking super crazy. So I can understand at the beginning of the game it being very competitive. But yeah, things got out of hand fast. Like you said, one moment it was 0-0. Literally maybe less than a minute goes by, and the game is kind of getting out of hand. Like I said, I'm glad to see the Bronx rivalry, getting back in the shape. Kennedy still competing with the wing T offense. I mean, like you guys were saying earlier about the I formation 44C blast. If it works for them, then then keep rocking with it. And clearly, it's working for them. They're taking care of business for the most part in the season. Oh my God! And then, sorry guys, and then the coach posts. If you thought he posted, if you thought last week was fun, wait till this Friday night. So this is the battle of the social media teams right now. Can you
Wait.
Can you
Where did you post that? Where did you post that?
I'll send it to you. The coach from Kennedy. He said, if you thought last week was a movie, wait till this Friday night.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that game? I dare South Shore to eat Mayfield.
It's JFK. That JFK
No.
7 p.m.
Order Wingstop in the Bronx. Order Wingstop in the Bronx. Yo, order Wingstop in the Bronx, man. Yo, yeah. Now Kennedy is fired up. I'm 9 times out of 9. I'm probably going to be at that game. I thought that's going to be a game. JFK feels super confident about this game. South Shore didn't really start their trolling on social media. But I'm pretty sure Jared is coming. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
Oh man. Before we move on to that game, there's a lot to talk about. I do want to give a huge shout out to number 1, Edward Werko. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Edward Werko, number 1. I owe you a t-shirt, my guy. Make sure I'm gonna see you before the game. Edward was all over the field, absolute beast offensively and defensively. 128 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 tackles, 4 tackles for loss. In the wing T, he's the I guess he's the guy, the fullback in the wing T. So he takes dive a lot.
Mm.
And he's
Damn sure.
Damn sure.
Damn sure is. I don't care how you look at.
They're not taking the bait.
That was my interpretation. Wait till this Friday night. What?
But yeah, huge shout out to Edward, man. Tremendous player. You just look at him; he's a very physically imposing player, and of course, running that dive. Oh, guys, yeah, yes, shout out to Coach for giving me that name pronunciation. But huge shout out to him. He's a key player for JFK. And I definitely want to say, definitely thoughts and prayers for Derek Betances. It's a player that I considered as in the running for Player of the Year. I don't know how bad his injury was, but he did get injured in that JFK game against Clinton. So hopefully, speedy recovery for Mr. Betances. I don't know the extent of the injury at all, but he got hurt in the first quarter and never came back. So definitely speedy recovery for Mr. Betances. Also, I want to give a big shout out to one of my favorite players in the whole PSAL, and that's Emmanuel Hernandez, number 3. He's like a small in stature, but like I don't know if anyone runs harder than him in the PSAL, like for real. Like maybe Tyshawn, but like when he gets that ball, and most of the times when he gets the ball, it's a touchdown. First of all, but he's just a tremendous runner. I've met him in person. Great kid. So huge shout out to Emmanuel. 120 yards, and I think I might say this name wrong, but number 4, Hamadou Ferseru. He's number 4. He filled in for Derek Betances, and he had 77 yards and a touchdown. So huge shout out to him, especially coming in and filling in for someone like wait, with Macademics. What is that? What is this about?
They stupid. They stupid. They stupid, Jay. Just keep going, bro. Keep going.
Keep going. Just keep going.
They stupid, man.
Huge shout out to number 4. And the last shout out is to number 0, Alexi Sanchez. Wreaking havoc all night. 5 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. He's gonna have to play big. Coach Oscar's in the chat, yo. Shout out to Coach Oscar, man. He's gonna have to play big in that South Shore game we'll talk about. And I know tough game for Clinton. This one might knock him out the playoffs if I'm not mistaken. But they definitely came in there with some fight. So, Jared, final words on this one?
Yeah, honestly, it was interesting at first, but no, JFK, they proved that, they're kind of in like that tier, obviously not with like the Curtises and the E-Halls, but they took care of business in a difficult game. If and now we got a really exciting one. I'm excited to talk about the next game of the week.
Oh, absolutely. So shout out. I mean, and also just a huge shout out to the staff, man. 3 games in one weekend is it's not easy. Shout out to the producer, Zoe, doing the game without me. Obviously, I was in Staten Island. So huge shout out to the whole staff, man. I'm just so proud of how far everyone has gone, and we're able to do. This is our 3rd time doing 2 games in 2 different boroughs. So huge shout out to the Sage staff for real, man. All right. So we're gonna kind of go through these games a little quickly. I know we've been here long, but definitely a lot of talking points. This week in the PSAL 4A was huge. Shout out to Jared and Mac too for splitting up, like we're agreeing to split up the show because there's no way we could have done everything. So where's my okay, here we go. Canarsie 34, Newdorp 0. Blank them on the road. First shout out. That's tough. I did not expect that. I did not expect that result. Huge shout out first to Zaire Schulters getting his first varsity touchdown. But not only that, 8 rushes, 106 yards, and a touchdown, 4 catches for 30 yards. So I'll throw that to the field. What do you guys want to say just about Zaire and finally getting his first touchdown?
That is not. I didn't even know that. That's amazing, man. He works hard. He's had a great season. Super elusive kid, man. That's great to hear. Like you said at the beginning when you started, I thought Canarsie was going to win that game, but I didn't think it was going to be that out of hand.
Is this really famous academics?
Kind of stupid.
Oh, man.
It's not so easy coming up out of here and predicting the future. Like if we can predict the future, then why would we play the games, right?
That was a good game. That's about Canarsie. That was a great game from Canarsie.
Yeah, seriously, and a New York team that I thought played really well in the game of the week, against Utrecht, and you know, shout out to Jamal Schulter gang for real. You know, they went to Staten Island and really put a hurting on them. Huge shout out to Josiah Brown, 15 for 22, 208 yards and 2 touchdowns. How about you talk about Josiah Brown and the year he's really putting together, man?
Yeah, he's been incredible. Yeah, this Canarsie offense as a whole came to play. And this one was really interesting because like last week, Newdorf had a lot of momentum going into it. Naeem Cooper was not playing this game, so it's like, okay, like Canarsi's offense is going to have to step up. We've seen how good Naeem Cooper has been. Zaire Schulters did that, but Josiah Brown really did it, and he did it with his arm too, which was
Yeah.
really impressive. He was finding a whole bunch of different receivers, and that was really exciting. So he was spreading the wealth, and Canarsi's offense did really well. And also, I think because I was also looking at the stats, not to change sides of the ball, but Canarsie must have dominated the line of scrimmage. Because like New Dorp, John Rose can run the ball well. They're very well coached, but I think the difference up front was probably massive in this game because New Dorp couldn't get anything going on the ground, and Canarsi's defense is really starting to put it together, and that might be a big edge for them going forward, as Canarsi's trying to make a run here.
No, absolutely. And I just want to give another shoe shout out to Corey McCracken Jr., the hero of the Battle of Floss. 6 catches, 106 yards. So I know sometimes he's a little overshadowed by Shamash, but huge shout out to Corey and Christian King, 5 tackles, 3 tackles for loss and a sack. He he's definitely in the conversation for defensive lineman of the year for sure.
Oh man,
Mac, Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. It's just like because you mentioned that Canarsie D line, the fact that Sincere Hester and Christian King are both sophomores, and like the size and athleticism that they have is just ridiculous. Like that tandem is gonna crush offensive lines for years to come. And then you also got Krishawn Pilgrim, who's just a junior. Man, imagine Trayshawn Wallace was an underclassman, but he's also a beast.
And Mac, I'm gonna leave this one to you actually. Canarsie Tottenville in the floss, man.
Damn.
I mean, it's a big spot for a young team. But what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, man. Canarsie wins that game. That's their ticket into the playoffs. Regardless if that McKee game is made up or not, they win that game, they're in. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's gonna be a tough one, man. Unless Tottenville rest their guys, which I can see happening. If I'm Tottenville's coach, I have Curtis the next week. Tyshawn came on here and said that he's playing hurt. Corey didn't play. I doubt they're gonna rest him.
The issue with that, though, they could drop to 4 if they lose 2 in a row.
Yeah, you're right.
They could. It's unlikely, but they
could.
No,
you're right. This is not a rest game. I doubt they're gonna. Canarsi's defense might have to step up. It's gonna be a crazy week of practice. They took care of business this week, and right now, it's about scratching and clawing, and really trying to solidify their spot, man. And I think Canarsie is they can make it a game. I don't think they're gonna fold. We saw when they played Lincoln, so I feel like they have it in them. That Lincoln game was an amazing game.
Yeah.
And Lincoln is a solid team. Lincoln just went head to head with Curtis. So, yeah, if Canarsie is healthy and they doing what they're supposed to do in school, and everybody is, on the path to playing this week, yeah, I think it'll be a great week for Canarsie. I think it'll be a game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. This game, I'm gonna say it again. I said it last week, and they was eating wings. This game cannot be BTA, and I don't think this game will. No, this game will not. This game will not.
Will not.
This game will not be BTA. I'm still from Brooklyn. I'm still rooting for Canarsie. I don't think it's gonna be. Yo, Munchie's crazy, man. Yo, crazy, man. He's crazy.
Oh my God! I just
he's stupid. Yeah, this game is not gonna be. It's not gonna be BTA, and you could screen record this. Canarsie is gonna put up a great fight, and may win the game. And may win the game.
Jared, your thoughts on this one?
I mean, I kind of like what Mac's saying. I think Canarsie is going to be really, really good. Honestly, though, for this one, it's so hard for me to give a take because last game, both teams, no Naeem Cooper for Canarsie, no Corey Brown for Tottenville.
Right.
So that changes literally like everything. Like it depends, like because if Corey Brown is back. Man, I mean, it's gonna be really.
But do you play Corey Brown? Do you play Corey Brown in this game?
It's so tough, man. Yo, Justin can swing it.
I wish I knew what the I don't know what the injury is. Like I wish I knew the severity of it and like if he's gonna be fine or not. I don't know. But
well, he's walking. He's walking. He walked out for the coin toss. So I mean,
yeah, it can't be too serious.
Yeah, it can't be. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But do you play him? Do you play him? And you got Curtis the following week.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I know. It's a tough. I'm happy that we're sitting here because that's a tough call to make, man.
Especially against a Canarsie team that's like big D line, like they're gonna be hitting, they're gonna bring the intensity, and that's the matchup that I really, really want to see. Tottenville's offensive line against Canarsie's defensive line. That'll be fun. That will also be really good.
No, for sure, man. We're definitely putting in OT tonight, so everybody buckle in. Sorry about that, but it's kind of just we knew it though, right? We really knew it here till like 10 o'clock. Like there was no other way.
No, all right, Jared and Dre. Honestly, before we even move on, will this game be BTA?
You want us all to predict?
Yes, not a score, but will it be competitive?
It will absolutely be competitive. I think it will absolutely be competitive. Canarsie have a lot of pride.
Okay.
It's in their crib.
Right.
And let's be real here. Like they're not. We got to see what Tottenville look like. You know what I'm saying? Right. Especially, I would love. And I know some people who've been here. I'm not. Well, I guess I could give a score on this one because I'm not calling it actually. I'll give you a score. It's fine. I'm not calling this one, but I would love to see teams' records like after playing D Hall. You know what I'm saying? Like that's such a physical game. You know what I'm saying? If I have to give you guys a score, I'll give it 28-14 Tottenville.
Okay. A lot of people just screen recorded that. Just letting you know. All right. There's a lot of screen records just happening right there.
Yeah.
That's fair. Jared, would you like to join me? Would you like to join me, Jared?
Yeah, I'll join you. Scores aren't really my thing, especially when you get like 12-7 games.
Right.
But I will I'll throw a prediction out there here and there. So I'll do it for this one. I think it's competitive, but Tottenville wins, and if Corey Brown plays, they score a lot. But I think it's close though. Like I think Canarsie's offense is still good. And I still think they get stops. They're at home. It's going to be a fun environment. It's going to be a pretty good game, but I think regardless, Tottenville wins. And if Corey plays, I think they I think they score a good amount. And I think honestly, if he plays, I don't even think it becomes a blowout. I think he's like that explosive a player where like the pace of the game kind of just changes a little bit. Where T-Ville could end up scoring, and then Canarsie might have to take some chances. Then Josiah Brown makes a crazy play, but I like Tottenville though.
When is this game?
It's in the floors.
No,
You said when?
it's Friday. Is it Friday or Saturday?
Give me a second.
Clinton played. I mean, not Clinton. JFK plays South Shore on Friday.
Yes, JFK South Shore is Friday, and this game is what's the first? It's the Friday, yeah. It's Friday.
Ooh, I definitely want to go up to the Bronx, man. Damn. Okay. Shit.
Yeah, man. So, all right, so that's exciting. Again, shout out to Zaire Schulters and Canarsie getting a big win in Staten Island. I'm gonna keep it in Staten Island. 2 wins in a row for Susan Wagner, beating Port Richmond 28-22 on the road. So I just want to huge shout out to Wagner, man. They upset Eagle Academy. They go and, in my opinion, get an upset win on Port Richmond. I mean, I thought Port Richmond looked pretty okay against Lincoln. And shout out to Kasim Cromwell, boy, not 195 for two touchdowns. That's number 4 in Port Richmond. Yo, nuts. Someone tell Kasim to send me some film because I need to see some of these performances from him. Like I saw him in the Lincoln game, and he had a long touchdown on a fake punt, but he's putting up some numbers, man, like for real. Also, huge shout out for Wagner, Anthony Hooker, 171, 2 touchdowns. Devin Lewison, another touchdown reception. So definitely a shout out to Wagner. Guys, any thoughts on this one?
Staten Island rivalry. It's good to have those competitive games in the 4A at that, at that position in the 4A. This is Wagner's second win in a row. I was hoping, I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping that that Port Richmond
could get a win.
Pull out a win this season, man. It's not happening. It's not happening. I thought it was gonna happen for them. I think their last, yeah. Well, yeah. They play Curtis and they play New York. So
it's gonna be tough for them, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for them.
Yeah, no, that that one was really good game. Big win for Wagner. They're still technically alive. They have to get an upset win though over either Canarsie or Erasmus Hall to make it really interesting, which is going to be really, really difficult. But going into that one, I thought this one was really entertaining because going into the season, last year for Port Richmond, Kasim Cromwell was one of the best wide receivers in Staten Island, and Anthony Hooker, not as known, but like one of the most talented defensive backs for Wagner. So these were, and now going into this year, both teams lost a lot. So these are like 2 of the top guys. So both coaching staffs are like, all right, we're just gonna need to get the ball to them. And they both were just getting a ton of carries, and they both put on a show. I think Hooker was over 170 yards. Cromwell, like you mentioned, 195 yards. Like that just shows the type of athletes that they are. They could play multiple positions, and in a Staten Island rivalry, they both came to play. So that had to be a lot of fun, and both teams played really hard. But Wagner coming out on top, keeping their season alive.
No, absolutely. So huge shout out to Susan Wagner, man, for real. Now now it's time to bring in our 4th host, Monty. Monty, please come to the stand. All right, you wanna put us on the stand, fry us all the time. In the Battle of Bedford, my fault, Max. I'm going to say alma mater.
Come on,
in the Battle of Bedford, 22-20 Madison over Midwood. Mac.
I'm back, Bunty. What are you gonna say for yourself, man? Like, come on, man. Like, we can't beat Madison in a year like this. Like, come on, man. We got like those games Midwood has to win. Yeah, Midwood's what, 1-6?
Yeah, they beat Utrecht.
They finished up with McKee and Clinton, man. I don't know what's going on at Midwood. I got some of my guys over there that's coaching. I'm pretty sure they'll get things together soon, hopefully. Yeah, this was like a must win for Midwood, man. Just for like, come on, come on, man.
Yeah,
This
yeah, and it's also kind of like in those big rivalry. What do they say? Like especially like I think I've heard a Michigan person say it's like we can go 0-8, but if we
as
beat
long as we
Ohio
beat,
State, it's a good
yeah,
season, right?
yes.
So it's a tough result for Midwood. I'm sure those guys are really disappointed, and from what I saw from the few highlights I saw, it looked like a really really competitive game. But I just want to give a huge shout out to Men Ali, 3 touchdowns, man. Um, and it's a Madison team I have a lot of respect for. Like, it's no secret, the team has been through a lot of adversity off the field this year, small numbers. But when I saw them play against when I saw them play against Eagle Academy, they came through with like 26 players and
Damn.
really played a tough game. Yeah, it's like 26 or something like that. I see Lindor in the chat. Maybe you can give us the number, but it's got to be 26 or something like that. So I'll give you your moment. I can't front. I can't front because he's not wrong. They won last year. They won last year against Eagle on Sage Media, so I can't front on him. But yeah, no, shout out to Madison. Winning the Battle of Bedford, man. Jared, any words on this one?
Yeah, no, big one for Madison. Yeah, Lindor's in the chat. Shout out to him. I don't know if you guys mentioned anything already, but yeah, 4 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown, which was
Oh,
great.
nice. Okay.
So, yeah, for Lindor, and then yeah, you mentioned Eamon Ali. He had a big game against New Utrecht for a win. Now here he gets 3 touchdowns, and it was a fight. Madison was trailing, but they ended up getting the victory. So that was big for them, and especially when you talk about like the numbers and everything. So winning 2 out of your last 3 games is nice. Now going into interesting game at home against Clinton could be big for the Madison program if they're able to pull that one out.
Oh, it's a good. That should be a good game. Yeah, I'm interested in that one. Definitely, guys in the chat, keep me updated on that one. I'm interested in that. And honestly, like I said, I love where the PSAL is because maybe yes, I'm like super into it, obviously with the business and everything like that. But I just feel like I just so much interesting talk and for all the games, like top to bottom, like can Madison? I mean, that could put Madison at 3 wins, right? So, um, give me a second. No, I guess I can just say this out loud, like guys, like no betting talk in the chat, like no parlay talk and all that kind of stuff. It's illegal. It's high school
Yeah.
kids, like just not here, please. Um. So yeah, no, huge shout out to Madison, and we'll see what if they can get another big win next week against Clinton, and that game's in Brooklyn.
What the
Oh, Madison Clinton. Yeah, Madison's at home, so it's
It's in Brooklyn. Okay, okay.
yeah.
And the last game to go over is a big result for the playoffs, I think, as well as McKee 28-14 over New Utrecht. Um,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
yo,
don't know. I
it's
don't know if
it,
that Eagles game gonna be like a walk in the park. That Eagle McKee game.
yeah, the Eagle McKee game could be a winner takes all, man. It could be a winners take all for the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
So, big win for McKee. Gabriel DeLuca, 127 yards and a touchdown. Sin K. Thomas, 96 yards and a touchdown. But again, I just want to give another huge shout out to Ishmael Alcindor, 204 yards and 2 touchdowns for real. And I actually want to see his yardage on the year. Jerry, you want to talk about this game at all? Because I know you're familiar with some of these guys.
Yeah, it was good win for excuse me,
McKee.
for McKee. They man, I wish they played against Canarsie, honestly. It would have been interesting because they got some talent, especially when it comes to running the football. I'm interested. I don't know if Danny Mosley played, just because he didn't record a stat offensively. But David Knight threw for a good amount of yards, but on the ground though, DeLuca with 127 yards. St. K. Thomas, I'm a big believer in his game. I think he's going to end up being really good. So that was an important win. Both rushing attacks looked pretty good. And you already mentioned about Ishmael El-Sindor. He's been on a mission. I think his stats this year have been like really impressive all throughout.
What if I told you, because I just had to look this, what if I told you the leading rusher in the PSAL 4A is Ishmael Al-Sindor?
Yeah. I mean, he's got over 7. Yeah. I'm looking at it right now, over 700 yards. Like, he has been great. And for New Utrecht, they're a young team. Ishmael's coming back next year. He's a senior. So, I mean, he's a junior, excuse me. So he's got one more year. So,
do you mean just for the 4A? Because I think the kid from Lehman has like
for the 4A, just for the 4A, just 4A.
So, Samir Thomas is he's a different animal.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
We'll talk about him tomorrow. That's a whole other that's crazy. But yeah, no, nice win for McKee. And I don't think they're gonna have the power points to get into the playoffs, but they could finish with 4 wins if they beat Midwood and then upset Eagle.
Yeah.
So they're trying to have a great first year in the 4A, but it's gonna be tough to win those 2 games back to back. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'll be killing South Shore running the ball,
man. Mac, anything on this one?
Nah, man, I'm happy. I've seen McKee play once actually at the beginning of the season. It was like a game scrimmage out here in Jersey versus a school called Boundbrook.
Okay.
And they look good against Brownbrook. So I definitely would like to see them see that Eagle game, that McKee Eagle game. Man.
Yep. So of course we're getting into the end of the show. This is definitely our longest one, but again, there's just too much to go over. What is this? 2.5 hours. I mean, we still got 45 people with us, so shout out to everybody still in the chat. I mean, just so much to talk about this week. But one of the most anticipated games in the Sage Standout Game of the Week series. And that is JFK versus South Shore. And it's really awesome that this is the one to end it, because I feel like it's all season we've been watching both of these teams. Like, and I wonder how JFK would do against South Shore. I wonder how South Shore would do against JFK. And it's finally here, and it's right up to the billing. Undefeated in the PSAL South Shore. 1 loss in the PSAL to the number 1 seed in the PSAL, JFK. That is the stage for this weekend. Mac, I know Mac has been looking forward to this one, man. So how about you start?
Greg, I'm letting you guys know right now, I'm stirring the pot all week. I'm stirring the pot all week. I'm hitting up the JFK coaches. I'm letting you guys know right now, I'm taking screenshots of what you tell me. I'm sending it to South Shore. Like, yo, look what they're saying. This game is going to be like, yeah. I'm sorry I have to miss the Canarsie game. But, yeah, I got to see if I can get me a field pass for this game. I haven't been to the Bronx.
Oh, which sideline you going to be on, though, man? Which sideline?
Oh no, I probably still rock the South Shore sideline. Yeah, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I've been to Miami more times than I've been to the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? I don't really go there. I don't go there.
So much Bronx slander, man.
I don't go to the Bronx. Yeah, I'm definitely there for that game. That's gonna be a game. That's going to be a game of the week. Like, I feel like I'm not even sure what to expect. But, yeah, man, if any of the South Shore coaches need me to make a run at halftime, more than well to do so. I'll make the run. Let me know what you guys want. If it's that kind of game. Kennedy said every other school in the Bronx, you're wasting your time. You need to come to JFK. They got the best homecoming. They got the best best game atmosphere. So yeah, I definitely want to experience their Friday nights. I know they got the Jumbotron over there under the lights. This is probably like my 15th time being in the Bronx in my life. Yeah, for real, no lie. No lie. I don't go there. I go to the Bronx.
Listen, I'm from Long Island. I've been to the Bronx more than 15 times, man.
Wow.
That's scandalous.
I had no business out there.
Jared.
Man, I mean, I love what Max said he's going to stir the pot. Yeah, dude, these are two of the most entertaining teams on social media. I know South Shore really gets after it there. It's gonna be good. I know the kids are gonna be really excited. What a way to end off the like the game of the week. But wow, so okay, clash of styles for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like the big thing we talked about, and like what we've been really looking forward to in these two teams is, you know, how's Kennedy going to defend the air attack for South Shore, and then vice versa, how's South Shore going to stop the Kennedy run game. I think this is very telling for, you know, how South Shore is going to be when it comes to making a run in the 4A playoffs, because how are you going to handle Kennedy's physicality and their offensive line? And boy, is Derek Betances' status going to be massive in this game. If Betances could play, that's very, very interesting. If he can't, then that definitely hurts Kennedy. But of course, Andre, you've mentioned all these other playmakers Kennedy has. They still have a very good offense and a very good offensive line. So I think it's a big test to see how tough South Shore is up front. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what the Vikings do against. Oh, because other than Canarsie, this is the best team that they've faced. So, promo video. Maybe we might have
Which music would you put over it, man? Would you put over it the super dramatic music?
Yeah, the music. Yeah, that's my go-to music. I have to save that for the playoffs, though. It's playoffs and battle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will be back for sure. Yeah, I'll think about it. But this one, it's gonna be good. And oh man, dude, like I wish I could be there in person, because I just have a gut feeling this one is gonna become personal after like the first drive, and it's gonna just be an incredible game. So it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited, and I'm just really excited also to see how Kennedy is gonna respond to all these playmakers South Shore has, and yeah, doesn't get much better.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest question, you know. When you have a quarterback like Nick Cyrus, you at this level of high school, you actually might not have an answer. You know what I'm saying? Like a quarterback that you think like, okay, like let's put some pressure in his face. Like let's not let him sit back there all day. But the problem with that is that he can slide up into the pocket and hit one of these guys on a quick route. You know, they have the offensive scheme. I don't think they make audibles and stuff like that, but they have the offensive scheme to run the crossing routes. They see that you're blitzing a lot from the left, so they're going to run a slant route right there. You know, he can make stuff happen with his legs. Of course, they have those kind of playmakers like, you know, Rich Perkins, like Tajay, like, you know, Mr. Antoine and all those dogs. And let's not forget Daniel at running back. So it's going to be a gigantic test for JFK's defense. You know, it's hard to prepare for an offense like South Shore and a quarterback like Nick Cyrus. And on the flip side, you know, it's going to be tough to stop this JFK rushing attack. You know, Derek Betances, his status, just like Jared said, it's going to be huge, man. If he's not able to go, it definitely takes away quite the dynamic from that offense. But I know he's only a freshman, but Jeremiah Sinat is a dog, man. He can make plays happen. He can make throws himself. So, you know, this is I'm just so excited for this game, man, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy this is going to be the you know the last one for the game of the week series. You know, so um, anyone else? Any last words on this?
Nah, man, looking forward to it. Dre, I'll see you there Friday. Dre from Muda Chains, let me know how that Canarsie and Tottenville game is gone.
Yeah, and one thing to kind of mention, I mean, I know the game's at night, but right now I checked the weather because it is technically November. I think they have like the best weather for November like ever.
Oh, yeah.
So that's in South Shore's favor. It's supposed to get up to 75. I know it's gonna drop at night, but still, that's like
That's even still good. 75 being a high, that's good.
yeah, exactly. So that's in favor for South Shore because that's obviously a big thing when it comes to passing the football. But no, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be physical and it's gonna be very telling for how these teams are gonna perform in the playoffs. And yeah, can't wait.
Absolutely, man. So again, it's crazy
Wow.
looking at this, and it's
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's like it's weird looking at this now because like memories from each of these games like come back. We could flex some games into this, who knows, but the promise to the city was this slate of games, and we're at the last one. Some games could be added, but this was the original promise to the city, man. So, huge shout out to Coach Mack and Jared, man. We've been talking about I guess that's the thing too, why it's so awesome. Like we have been talking about this since what, June, July? And we're finally here in November, man. 8 episodes of a podcast. How many games we flexed the game into this series for the 3A. So it's just really awesome, man. So shout out to everyone in the chat for real, man. All the support has been awesome. Everyone is always very encouraging. And shout out to the criticism. Well, shout out to running down on me in games. Like that's what it's all about. Like, I gave E-Hall what I give him 28 push-ups. 28 push-ups, man, on on Friday for saying that Curtis was the best defense. So huge shout out to everyone for real, man. We'll be back here tomorrow. And Jared, sure, you want to say something, Jared?
Oh no, I just saw the shout out that we got from
Yeah.
Cartsy, and I was just
Yeah,
like, yeah, like thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's some love
yeah.
right there. And yeah, we really appreciate it. And this has just been so much fun. I can't wait to keep doing this. And tomorrow night, man, we still got a lot to do, so it's gonna be exciting.
Yo, Muncie, you gotta. I don't know what game it's gonna be, but you definitely gotta pull up on us, man. You
yeah,
definitely gotta pull up on us, my God.
for sure.
Um. So yeah, huge shout out to everyone, man. We'll be back here tomorrow. We're gonna talk about the 3A, the 2A. There's a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. Yes, the show will be shorter. I mean, we gave y'all damn near 3 hours this week, so
Or
and we give you another show. So huge shout out, much love to everybody in New York City.